thank you all so much for sitting tight and joining us for some more D&D right here on Lionhead Gaming. It is Thursday, which means it's time for some more Song of Rapture, as DM'd by the wonderful and hilarious Monsieur Omen. Monsieur Omen, I pass it over to you.
So when we last left our valiant vanguard, they'd found themselves taking a slight new direction in the course they had currently been set on, going from one part of the sands to the farther side, seeking knowledge, and it seems to be a reunion with some old friends. But what exactly brought them on this path, and what transpired in the last episode of a very heavy emotional episode of Song of Rapture is not really my story to tell, so could someone tell us what happened on the last episode of the Song of Rapture?
Yeah, after we arrived back into the city of Roca, successfully commandeering the two sand skimmers that were taken from the silken seabed by a group of Yuan-Ti cultists, Persephone, Corin, and Samantha interrogated the Yuan-Ti prisoners, both the purebloods and the Malisons, gaining what information they could about their cult's present location and the power their leader, Seth the Winged Serpent, possesses. Samantha, in the end, sent the purebloods on a pilgrimage of adventure and self-discovery, hoping to check in with them far later to see if her experiment would work. Tamar Khan partied a bit before heading to meet with his brother again and seek his aid and wisdom in regard to an old friend of his, someone who he believes might have the wisdom and knowledge needed to help push Samantha forward out of this wallowing slump she's been in, and perhaps even towards a different worldview. Swift Hollow descended once more into the undermarket, seeking tools of her trade and the like, after signing autographs and partying in a measured and constrained fashion, keeping up appearances. Quildor took this time to not only give a climactic and inspiring speech upon our return that invited the celebration in the first place, thanks to all of the hostages coming back alive and in one piece, but celebrated quite a bit himself, enjoying good food, drink, and company with Nuzo. Far later on, the group reconvened at the silken seabed and enjoyed the private hot tub area together, catching up on what they'd uncovered, discussing what they decided to do with the purebloods and the Malisons, and thanks to something that was gifted to Tamar, Raziel, a familiar of Samantha's, encountered one of his old feathers, and in doing so revealed that their foe, Seth, might be within Roca right now, or at least had been here in the recent past. Samantha took a few moments to explain what she did with the purebloods and the challenge to Seth in sending all of the captured Malisons back to their master with the simple message that Medusa is coming for him. The Valiant Vanguard agreed to meet up in the morning and head to Cradle Keep, needing to meet with the Incantation of 10 and acquire the Yuan-Ti in waiting for their attack against Seth, before he could enact his plans to destroy Darunga. Lastly, Persephone sought out Samantha and offered her some magical therapy via the dream spell. Samantha agreed, more curious than anything, and Persephone ended up meeting her in her dream. As Samantha gazed over her empty divine realm from atop a massive black and gold pyramid palace. After some explanation within the dream realm, Samantha was given her powers and set upon by countless foes they'd fought before. Persephone knew Samantha's reaction to violence and vengeance was an interesting and alien one compared to most. She could be satisfied by it. So Persephone poured them on, assuring Samantha that she could go as far as she desired. She could pour her grief, anger, hatred, passion, sadness, all of these emotions that she just barely manages to contain, let them flow through her, into her claws, and into her enemies. As the violent spree continued, more and more powerful foes, Samantha's appearance changed more and more to her divine form. That was stripped away from her by the Raven Queen. Her tail, her much larger size, her magical strength, and more vicious snakes upon her head, more like dragons or hydra heads. Finally, she confronted Dream Sidious, and ripped through him as well, taking his head instead of his heart. The black and gold marble palace floor covered in bodies and blood, and Samantha like a ruby rather than an emerald. Drunk on power, she confronted Persephone and, expecting the worst, asked if she still loved her, knowing just how monstrous she could be. And Persephone said that she did, giving her a kiss on the forehead as well. Samantha opened up to Persephone about her relationship with her family, Malar, her creator, and Lolth, her sister, not a place of love and care like her own. Her long 5,000-year life has been one of seeing the worst of mortals, blinded by avarice, making her believe all of them could fall from even the loftiest of heights. But the good she's experienced firsthand from the mortals she travels with stands as testament to their complexity. They are not all monstrous, even if they are all capable of monstrous things. She is not a monster. She is a goddess who has mismanaged her people, twisted them into what she saw them as, and left them to suffer. So where will this journey head next? Well, join us now as we write the next verse in the Song of Rapture.
Good stuff. Give yourself some DM inspiration.
You know I still have it.
Okay, then roll yourself a D100.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Not bad.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, as indeed we find our valiant vanguard on the next morning in their time in the city of Roka. Although it seems, unless there's anything else wanted to squeeze in the last moment, it sounds like they're going to be transporting themselves from the city of Roka, I'm assuming from the trees there, to the city of Cradle Keep.
I would. Pick me.
Come on, what's up, baby?
All right. Before we went to bed, Swift Hollow would have asked Persephone for her armor, for your breastplate.
Okay, and I'll probably give it to Swift Hollow. Probably caught me in the middle of trying to go to Samantha's room.
Mm-hmm. See me in the morning.
Else? Oh,
That's it.
okay.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Knowing where we're going, that night, Tamar would sneak out to up to the northeast of the sort of the underground where he perused around before, using a bit of that newfound language, that tongue of the town, to try to find himself a magical scroll.
Okay, give me a straight up charisma carousing check as you are schmoozing your way around.
Straight up charisma.
Not going to be particularly hard. You have the capability of doing it now thanks to this language you were taught.
Good thing, because I got a +0 to it.
All right.
5!
Yeah.
Harder than a 5!
It seems like you've definitely picked up on the language, my friend, but as far as like ingratiating yourselves with these people, well, you've picked up on some of how Swift Hollow interacts, the way she's sort of very careful and sly with who she picks and what she says, and it takes some time, probably maybe longer than you'd wish for, a couple of hours just sort of slinking by to and fro until finally maybe you found someone. It takes until the late night to do so. And you find someone who's offering some form of magic, mostly tightly rolled scrolls kept hidden within someone's long robe sleeves. Stuff that wouldn't probably be too keen to be sold in the public.
Yeah. Tamar's just looking for some way to find the secrets of an object, to identify what it might be.
Yeah, very much an available form of magic. It is something that even some of the lowliest casters, of which there are many in these districts, are willing to use and capable of doing. It's how they actually measure the wares they receive to make sure that they are as they are intended. Although you certainly know certain types of magic can obfuscate that nature. They have a couple scrolls on hand for such a form of magic. It would cost about 200 GP per scroll.
I will buy one. I will buy 2 of these identity scrolls.
Okay. as they would easily sell them to you if you're buying them at full price. 400 GP for 2 scrolls.
And while I'm at it, can I restock on some +1 arrows? Don't need a ton. Like by like 10.
I gotta double check. Yes, they do have them up at the up in the armory. They're not so much selling magical wares down here. It seems there's so many moving above. Not really any kind of contraband among them. But you could buy them above during the day. Oh god, price. I had you. One moment. Motherfucker shopping last minute. Look at y'all.
I didn't think about it until right now. I was gonna do the scroll thing. I didn't think about my arrows, and I realized I had like half
Oh yeah,
one
I was
left.
gonna buy something too, Omen.
Oh god. Yeah, go for it.
I just want to buy a magical bow.
1 second. Okay. Arrow. Okay. So for +1 arrows, a little expensive. These things are designed to be, they're only slightly enchanted. They seem to be made of not mithril, but just an enchanted silver. Probably you could buy about 20 of them for a stack of 100 gold.
Cool beat. Okay.
And for a +1 bow, just a regular bow, it seems it's been touched by magic. I'm assuming. Wouldn't cost all too much. More so the use of slings, but they do have a number of bows here. Long bows, short bows more so, but long bows in plenty. I'm assuming you're looking for a long bow. Yeah. They'd be willing to sell a simple +1 longbow to you for about 500 GP.
Okay, I'll do that and 100 arrows. The magic kind, or not 100 arrows, 20.
Okay. Same as Timer Khan's price.
600 GP.
Got a shit ton of money to throw around. They're pretty happy to see you coming in, just buying some of their wares, especially during the high tide. Seems like they have decent amount in stock.
That's it. Done.
Okay. Anyone else? I've got the shopping list right here.
Corin is going to go and invite a bunch of men and women into his room. This is a brothel, I believe. They'll tie them all up with bondage and then tell them that they're free to leave after they tell me their life stories.
Oh my god! What the fuck is this scene?
Are you inviting them under false pretenses, or are you just telling them come into my room? Like, if they're out, are you like, hey, we're gonna go up and have some fun? Like, how's Corn presenting this? This will determine how you persuade or otherwise deceive or intimidate them.
I mean, I assume I just pay them.
Oh, okay, you're literally just paying. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Be like,
Come
hey,
to me,
I want to
I'm
invite
going
you.
to tie you up.
So you're
I
literally-
invite you to my room. I didn't
Oh,
say
so you're
why
literally
I'm inviting
hiring-
you to the room. I'm just
You're
inviting
literally
you
just
to-
hiring people to come to your
Yeah.
room. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, they'd easily do it. They'd probably just take, I don't know, for them, decent rate, about 2-3 gold pieces a piece for just, depending on how long it's going to be, per hour or so.
Several days later.
Sure. You can invite as many of them as you want. The more money you throw out, the bigger a crowd you'll have. Although, I guess you're kind of living on space. But regardless, for the sake of fun, you can spend as much money as you want to learn all the life stories you want. And you do.
That's all I do.
That's all you do. Goofy shit. Okay. Is that
Every day, normal stuff.
Gentle interrogation, I'm telling you. Is that everyone? Because if not, we're going to slide on into the next day. Going once, going twice.
So,
Keep it
Tala, what do you
cool. Right
give
on that.
me in place of my armor in the morning?
Oh yeah, as you come in, Swift Hollow seems to be sort of in this weird ritual. She's surrounded by, she has her tools out and she's sort of tapping and tinkering with this 300 gold diamond. Oh, yeah, here, little light. It's on the bed. As she turns back around and you can see your armor has been adorned with what seems to be flowers, although they're fake. But they smell vaguely like what was that bloom when we hung out on the last night?
Night blossom.
Yeah, that's what they smell like.
Flowers on my armor.
It should smell like home. The as she like turns around from what she was working on. The original prototype was meant for robots, but it's supposed to shock you.
It was meant for
But
what?
I modified it.
Shock? What?
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to reconfigure the automatons so that they focus better, but this one should just, I suppose, fill you with memories of home. So if you feel your concentration slip on a spell, just breathe deeply. As I infuse your armor with the mind sharpener.
Hey! Hey! Good shit.
Ooh.
As indeed, it seems as if this piece of armor, made by something quite magical in nature, but itself not at all magical, was infused with a little bit of some of Swift Hollow's artificer magic, granting it a new property. Look at you!
Yeah, if you fail a concentration saving throw, you can use your reaction, spend a charge, and you don't fail. Auto succeed.
And does that infusion input attunement into that thing?
No, it doesn't.
Hey, nice.
It's real good.
It's real good.
So good.
Very good.
That's real good. All right, good shit,
Artificer.
baby.
Yes, she turns back around and also at the same time, this special gem, this diamond, so to speak. She tinkers around with it more as very weird, very magically. Form seems to take shape as I also I summon my homunculus servant. That's not the cool part.
You can't just say you summon it.
I summon it.
What's it look like?
I create a homunculus.
It
looks like
moving on, as I don't have art for this. As Swift Hollow is sort of like tinkering around, she seems to be adding layers of metal and various alchemical things to it, as it seems to take shape to a fairly tiny but very real sort of bird.
Hey.
As it kind of looks, I don't know, like a crow, maybe a jackdaw. Bird.
Burb.
Burb.
You made a friend! Literally made a friend!
Mm-hmm. Unlike familiars who are conjured out of the ether, I have to actually make one. But he's my little eye in the shadows. He'll be useful.
Wow.
As, she opens her, sort of cloak and it just sort of flies in. She just closes it. Alright. Off to Cradle Keep then.
I give Swift Hollow a hug. Thank you, Swifty.
Mm-hmm. She, hugs you back.
Happy Persephone noises.
Roll yourself a D100. Good shit. As indeed. Unless there's oh shit. Unless there's anything
man,
else.
altruism, Swift Hollow really do be hitting different.
One sec, as I'll do that because I'm too lazy. As unless there's anything else. The morning comes. Let's see, what day is it? I have it on here. Beautiful Sunday, April 11th. You guys find yourselves, I'm assuming, heading up to the forested area where the trees are, the most the plant life is, to use the transport from this part of Roka to the somewhat vegetative part of Cradle Keep. I'm assuming so. Unless there's objections.
Oh, that's all I got.
No
You
objections.
said
I'm just
April
trying to
11th.
copy and
April 11th.
Should we figure out how we're doing this? Are we taking tree there, teleport circle back, teleport circle there,
Yes.
tree back?
paste. Tree there, circle back.
It's a circle.
And I just gotta see who I have in my book. Did I get Tenzin to sign my book? I think I did.
I think you got Jody. Because you didn't get your book till, like, I think just around the time you fought Mordred Kane. Because you got Jody in there, and you got that elf in there, and then you got recent person in here. I don't think you got Tenzin. I think you used the box to talk to Tenzin.
That's right. That's right. I don't think you said dad elf like Persephone's dead.
I think so. Someone up there. I thought you got a book signed, but I could be wrong.
No, no, you're right. It's Jody. I have it. It's Jody, Luna. I don't think the dad. I think the dad elf decided not to sign.
Oh yeah, because you said
And-
that thing to him.
And I have the Yonti on there. Okay. I'll put a list here. What's my proficiency
For you
bonus?
thought you had tomorrow, it's just a penis. It's a penis
Mhm.
drawn in the book.
That's true. It was in there for a
The
bit, then
monkey
it
penis.
faded.
Oh yeah, I did get Tamar to sign it. That's right.
As unless there's anything
For me.
else.
Sending.
Ripping at that band-aid.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Do it, Owen.
Oh, and
do
it really does
do it
just smell
now.
like to a 10-foot bubble radius. I actually hang on, I have to like relook at it, but yeah, it really
Oh my
does just
God.
smell like flowers.
Okay. It's like, what are we doing now? Gotcha. All
Hang
right.
on. No, go read my features. I finally remembered I had Artificer. There. I tinkered it.
As
Eh.
with a touch of magic, powerful magic at that, uninterrupted in your recent travel. Such a satisfying feeling, Persephone, to not have your magical teleportation twisted and turned. You find yourselves whisked away from the far-flung deserts of the White Sea and in to the far east or western side of Mobia, more towards the south, a place you haven't been in quite some time. You immediately feel it as you step through the tree, the sudden change of environment. The sun a little further away from you this time, but still hanging in the air and still beaming down warmly. But now there's this sort of cool rush of air rushing across your body. You are close to the mountains now, nestled up just against it like a gentle little cradle as you find yourselves in the lower districts, more of the not impoverished, more common folk area of Cradle Keep, where you find seems like life has been blooming and abounding here. Tons of people bustling through the streets as you return to the City of Scholars.
Persephone happily skips out of this crystal tree portal that she's created and just twirls around waiting for all of her friends to emerge behind her.
Oh yeah.
I must say,
We saw
Persephone,
what
this
you
is much faster than walking.
Right? It's almost like if you were to take like a map and then just fold it so the 2 points are right next to each other and then you just walk that way.
What's that smell?
Smells like flowers.
Persephone,
that's
what
so
did you do?
Swifty put flowers on my armor.
Didn't you always
So
have
nice.
flowers on your armor?
I know, but these are different. They smell like night blossoms. It's a
I look
very
at them. I look at them, just concerned they might be like nightshade or some kind of poison. Knowing Swift Hollow.
they're flowers that are kind of important, especially to Inalin.
They
That's
look like
nice of
inulin
you.
flowers, and they look suspicious.
Roll me a straight up in check. I guess a nature check for you. See how much you know about plants.
Not much.
Man, you might know what poisonous flowers look like. You might not. Cautious side of you says, well, you have no idea. You have no idea what these are, but they probably know what they're talking about. Nod and smile.
And nod and smile.
Saddle up next to Swift Hollow as we start to walk through the streets or away from this tree. Hey, Sweet Hollow, do you want to, if the opportunity arises, get up to a bit of mischief?
Oh, he's stealing another lantern.
No, just preparations for the next.
Hmm.
Wait,
But your friend.
no. The things we talked about before. One more step towards it.
Hmm. Oh, I see.
See if the opportunity arrives. It is all.
She nods.
Wonderful.
As Samantha steps out, stretching and noticeably a bit more together as she sort of makes her way to the front of the group. Okay, don't plan on being here long, but seeing Tamar and Swift Hollow muttering to each other, are you all planning something?
Only to take over the world.
Ah, typical. As you notice, Tamar, for the first time in quite a number of days, you see a bit of a tooth and smile from Samantha, as her body language seems to be a lot more positive for the most part.
Persephone
Get a
has
big
fake
old
smile.
shitting grin out of Tamar for seeing that.
All right. Incantation, and then I'll see what I can do about tracking down the Onti and gathering up again. I probably won't need you all for that part. You can do whatever you want or whatever, or just hang out. But let's go.
Makron,
Yes.
you know the number one rule when we're in this town.
To not expose myself?
That's a good rule.
That's the second rule.
Oh, then I am at a loss. That's usually the
Don't
number
get
one that the
caught.
gods tell me.
Don't get caught.
That's right.
It's a good one. I don't usually
I
imagine.
can't stop you from doing something. Just don't get caught.
You know me, I would not hurt a fly.
If he gets
I'd
caught,
be very disappointed if he gets caught.
That's not necessarily true. You hit me a lot.
Are you a fly? Did not think so.
if he gets caught, we'll bail him out. It's fine. Though that will be 2 strikes. You lost Hakoran and you got caught by these unremarkable gods. You're skating on thin ice, my friend. You might be bumped down to the minor leagues to keep this up. As
Well,
you
I
that's
like to
expected.
think- I like to think that my bout with Gorin that I gained far more than I lost. Who would say that is a loss? I think that is a win in my book.
I think you learned quite a bit, and that's really the best thing that you hope for.
Exactly! Gorin understands.
I suppose.
Shall we go?
Tally ho. As we
And
strut
tally
through
ho
the
you
street,
do.
making everyone part in front of me, as there is just an almost return to confidence in the way Samantha moves through the streets.
Sure. Roll me a straight charisma check, Samantha.
A straight charisma check. Okay.
A straight charisma check. Hey, nice. Oh yeah. Definitely make your presence known walking ahead. The crowd parts quite widely, and then you'd hear some hums of recognition as you guys make your way through here. It's been a little bit since you guys came to the city of Cradle Keep, and last time you were here, you had spread some word recently that a dragon had been slain, sort of, left some, not disparaging, but disconcerting and otherwise doubtful echoes, but it's been quite some time since. Those echoes have since resonated into something of belief, and having seen something large become dragged in, at least pieces of it, it's become sort of the talk of this city for quite some time. And seeing you guys arrive, one of you even wearing a freshly flowered dragon plate breastplate, sort of adorning her victories. The Valiant Vanguard would be greeted as the Dragon Slayers, and you hear people calling out and recognizing you as such, to the point where once you've reached the entrance to the Grand Archives, not the Vault of Alphacia, but the actual Untold Archives, the doors are already open. The Tomekeepers have already alerted the incantation, it sounds, of your arrival, and by the time you've reached the building, your introductions have already been accepted, and you are already guided up the long flights of stairs through these familiar places, basically all these long, winding corridors, libraries, now put to greater scale since your last visit to Inniland, seeing their expansive libraries. You find yourselves being led to the far back corners to the large steps leading up to the great heights, eventually touched by just a moment of weaker magic. Last time you were here, you had some fly spell cast on you to fly to the greatest heights. Instead, the Tome Keepers simply touch you with a bit of what seems to be levitative magic and allow you to scale the heights with a bit of mental effort, at least not on your own, until you reach... Ooh?
Persephone declines because she has wings. So she
That's
flies.
true. She just flutters her way up, manifesting, if not flaunting, her new boon. As making her way up, you'd find yourselves entering into the chamber of the Incantation of 10, who, again, thanks to your amazing entrance, have already been gathered and are quite excited to see you. You see all 8 of their faces lining their seats as usual, grand pyre burning in this grand council chamber. And as you're entering, you would see a number of, it looks to be these Tome Keepers, more of these robed mages, hurriedly exiting, as it seems as if your presence has, well, taken priority or what meeting they may have had here. As you'll find yourselves entering into the Incantation of 10. You'd see the first person to greet you with quite a boastful smile on his face is seemingly the appointed leader of this group of wizards, this wise diviner Tenzin, who sort of stands up from his seat and sort of claps and welcomes you all in. Seeing all of you approach, and especially eyeing down at the small creature walking his way forward and motioning for Corin as well to come closer. Good to see you again, Valiant Vanguard. I honestly almost assumed the worst. It seems you were quite hard to reach after some time. The word's been said you've been gallivanting in another nation. Even possibly, well, performing some more heroics.
Persephone
No more
flutters.
dragons to slay, I assume.
Persephone flutters to the front and lands next to Samantha.
Quite a bit of heroics, in fact, putting to rest an old rivalry in the Feywild. You familiar with
Feywild.
the... What would be the right word? It wouldn't be myth. Would it be like the tale of
Legend.
okay, yeah, the legend. Let's go with the legend of what was the storm version,
Zelda.
Mel?
Malstroma.
Maelstroma? Are you familiar with the legend of Maelstroma in the Feywilds?
No such thing. Feywilds are not particularly my expertise. That's more Galbin's area, although, well, you might find him indisposed for quite some time, as you'll see another familiar face, this wild-haired man with sort of bug eyes, sort of staring off into space for a moment, and he opens his mouth to speak, and you just hear this sort of rolling of tongues, like, hello, woo. He's been spending some time, he's done it again, yes. Spend some time communing with other planes, trying to find information regarding a certain topic we wish to bring up with you. Although it seems his mind has not quite held up to par. He sort of seats Coot down back into his chair. Galvin down.
Okay.
You just, you got me.
I got him!
I shoot him.
Ah!
Is he okay?
Oh.
We could have communicated a bit more effectively if you had returned my chest, Tenzin.
Yes. Oh, that is part of the matter. We'll get down to business, I suppose. Seems a bit of hot button. You see, we have been spending this time quite extensively to the best of our abilities to study the small treasure you'd brought us, same kind you'd found in the depths of that volcano. We learned a bit more about its properties through, well, a bit of sacrifice. As you'll see, the one sitting next to Galbin leans forward for a moment, and you see sort of pulling out from like the side of his, I guess from his pocket. It's at that point you'd realize one of his arms held at his side, resting in front of him on the arm of his chair. The other one seems to be like folded behind his back. And you see him motion with it, and you see out from the elbow onward, nothing. But floating around from that side, quietly and strangely in control despite its tiny size and apparent danger, this familiar blackened shape come floating out before him, seemingly kept under his intense and focused control. It seems we've learned these things, true nature, at least. Well, perhaps you've learned more in your own travels. Although, it was Lord Vythe here who made the grand sacrifice to make contact for a moment to identify its property. As this man sort of speaks up, because he now leans up. You didn't really speak much last time you talked. Seems like you didn't have much of an ability to. Throat sort of tossed, turned, and torn by what looks to be either old age or battle. Looks like a man barely held together by his own scars. I only had a moment. Place my fingers upon it. The magic granted me a touch of knowledge. But only a touch. Before it all faded. But it was more than enough. These things... They're as we thought. They're holes in the plains, all of them lined in a single spot. Where there is emptiness, there is destruction. But the magic that contains them, the magic that composes their impossible nature, it's composed of all 8 schools of magic and even something else, something we haven't even seen ourselves, something we haven't been able to truly understand, but something worth studying, although not quite worth the price for another touch. But alas, these things, these holes in reality, they have a strange effect whenever they come in contact with something that too bends the planes. Simple pouch containing a demi-plane, hole in reality, a portal, a gate. Even something that might slip through the planes themselves might cause it to react, and we don't know how it will respond. To be completely honest with you, the fact you sent it through that box in the first place was something of a miracle. If it wasn't for that small container you found out in the desert, well, I feared either you'd be destroyed or we'd find ourselves destroyed calling to us. So we wished to inform you of its properties before we'll offer it back to you. Tenzin, if you wouldn't mind. As Tenzin was sort of, oh, fine. Reach down to his side, grab onto a small trinket, and then before him on one of these, I guess just before him on the ground, before you, small poof of dust, like something fading from into reality, and you'd see your chest appear. For safekeeping. But we did learn more. Something worth sharing with you, considering it seems assumed you'll find more interaction with these things as you've traveled. These holes, not really even holes, really, we've come to call them the Spheres of Annihilation. For that's truly what their purpose is meant to be. When I touched them, I not only learned their properties, I learned the intention. I gazed into something no mortal should see. I saw lines, pathways, almost maddeningly so, opening between all the worlds, converging on single spots. These things are meant to bridge the gap between the planes. Makes sense some creatures might use them for portals, for gateways, but the power that flows through these things, the sheer magical force when the forces of the veil and the weave become unraveled, they give way to powerful forces of destruction. Hence why he motions up towards the remains of his arm. It seems to eat up everything in its path. If that were funneled into a weapon or a spellcasting focus, you might find yourself with possibly one of the most destructive forces in all of Hearth. Which is why we would like to keep them as they are, contained. But their use, though you might find them a proper use for a weapon, each pulling upon their power places permanent damage upon the veil. The threads that form it become thinned and unwound, and eventually will snap and break. And when they do, we can only assume the worst. These things are holes in reality contained by magic. If that magic breaks, the hole might spread. Like a tear in a fabric, no less. But in understanding these things, and after much discussion with Tenzin, we cannot help but agree these things are not natural. These things are created by something that knows far more magic than any mortal here. Someone who's probably been alive for quite some time. No, it seems, as they all sort of stop and they look up at you with a moment of complete silence. And why might you know that, Samantha?
Because I'm a very good student. As Samantha reach.
Pat myself on the back of that one.
Always trying to maintain a very positive relationship with Tenzin. I know exactly what to say. As I reach into my bag, a grisly sight, but bear with me. As I pull out the, I think still preserved, because I have 10 days, intact head and magical spine of one Arcanoloth. This...
Oh my god! As Septim shifts in his seat, immediately just staring forward, seeing something he immediately recognizes. Though as he does, one of the members of the incantation fades and reappears right in front of you, as the young Zvine stands in front, eyes wide and excited. What on earth is that?
He was a problem, and now he's not a problem anymore.
It certainly looks like it.
Very true. A created servant of one that calls themselves the Sovereign. An Arcanoloth, I believe this fiendish entity is called. And she sort of puppets his head a little bit. Not necessarily gruesomely, just holding it. But sort of points it towards Zwine, so it's looking at him.
And he's basically matching eyesight with it.
As she reaches back into her bag and pulls out the gate key. This was the true form of one Galleon, what was his title, Persephone?
He was an Oath Lord of Illyria.
As she so astutely put it. In truth, he was a servant of the Sovereign, a very powerful lich that created him, this knowledge granted to me thanks to Persephone's magic, allowing me to interface with his mind using, I believe it was the dream spell, correct?
Persephone just nods, big smile on her face.
I saw the very moment this thing came into being, from its perspective. I could see this massive, skeletal, obvious magic user literally forging these orbs with its own effort. A depiction that I can only connect to that of lichdom.
As Septim sort of just still trying to find his comfort in this moment, still shifting in his seat. Yugoloth trying to be Yugoloth. As Vythe is sitting there stroking his beard, and Zvine is very carefully reaching out his hands to try and take this thing from your hand to get a better look at the head.
Be very careful. I have great intentions for its remains.
As I pick it up and look it over.
Entity, out of the ones we have encountered, Obsidious and Mordred Kane, was the most adept at controlling that orb. As she lifts up the gate key, this magical box, much like my sphere, contains and draws on the power of one of those orbs, allowing you to access other planes by, it seems, tearing open holes, channeling its energy into a construct Galleon was planning on bringing the Feywild into the material plane, and, well, we put a stop to that.
I'd certainly hope so. That'd be... Well, certainly it's fine in small doses, as Galvin says, but truly the Feywilds are where they belong, in the wild.
Yes, rather
but
than
that would
a
explain...
drip feed, more a floodgate.
It is... Definitely explains much of these phenomenons we've been experiencing recently, and the existence of the Yugoloth. These creatures can only be created by those of great and powerful magic. Mostly those who practice the occult, but it would explain this other phenomenon, as Tenzin will sort of reach out his hand, and you see the orb right in front of Vi sort of floats right in front of him. These things, they don't respond to touch, of course, they destroy you, but they do respond to a sharpened mind. They are more astute, created to be held by a creature that can control it with I suppose, a expert level of arcana. I suppose that's how you were able to trap it originally. Well done, my student. But it does pose an issue. If this is a lich, by the gods, if it is a lich, it will not be a simple task to find or stop this creature from creating any more of these. But you did find more though, Vi. These things are powerful. These things take time to create. Long amounts of time to amass power and forge them into a single shape. The fact that these things hold together by all magical means is nearly impossible. From what I saw, 7 in total. Perhaps in time there may be more, but for now, only 7 exist. Which brings me comfort to see at least 2 here.
Can they not be destroyed?
Well, that is the last part I wish to mention. These things, no matter what they contact, they rip and tear and destroy it. It is the unraveling of the veil and the weave itself that causes such destruction. And yet seems that there are some things in this world that cannot be destroyed. You showed it yourself, Samantha. You placed it inside of that tiny orb. You still have that, Viserys. As the balding man sort of sits up. Indeed, as he pulls out this small golden orb. Very familiar to you. Sort of throws it in the air. You see a hand catch it in the middle, spectral in shape. And lowers it down back to you, Samantha. Where exactly did you get this thing?
Let me actually check my notes. Maybe I wrote it down, because I usually do. Yeah.
Gambling.
We won it in gambling.
We wanted
Really?
it.
Yeah, we won it in the gambling match. One of the
In the-
cartographers in the big high stakes because yeah, that
Oh, the
one
one
where
that you guys are dirty
we got the
cheaters in?
Enigma orb, we got Luna got her fan. We got
That's
a bunch of
right.
fucking gold.
And we get the Tears of Iron from that too.
Yeah, we did.
Funnily enough, I won it in a bit of a card game out in Roka.
Oh, gods of fortune. That would possibly explain it. These things, if this comes from the ancient sands, from the White Sea, would possibly explain the magic. Some of the oldest forms of magic, the most archaic of artifacts, exist somewhere in that sand, in the grand expanse. Kingdoms have fallen, risen, and fell over the expansion of the human nation. It makes sense that those who travel and scavenge might find some remains of powerful magic. And that's precisely what seems to resist this power. Artifacts, one might call them. Objects of condensed and immense magical power seem to physically contact them as if it were an object. It doesn't get consumed or destroyed. It simply fails to interact. Although we've never tested it, perhaps an artifact of potential power might be able to destroy these, although, again, it might be a bit catastrophic to do so. When this magic is destroyed, we don't know what goes away first: the containing magical field or the destructive field within. Perhaps worth a test someday, but far from the city.
So what would happen if he kind of puts his fingers together?
Exactly. Corin.
That-
Yes.
That is another issue. If these things are planar incursions, to combine them would create a paradox. Also might create a destruction. Also might... Not really sure what would happen, actually. These things are designed to destroy and consume. Place them to each other. Either they destroy each other, they destroy everything around them, or they simply consume one another and grow stronger. Again, something we rather not test. But if you were to do so, please do so far away from the city.
Duly noted.
But I do hope you never have to do so, for it is our intention to keep these spheres of annihilation within the city. Keep them within the safety of the vault of Alphatia. These things, as they say, they grow stronger when they're used. The more their power is called upon, the thinner the veil becomes until they are destroyed. We'd prefer that they stay out of anyone's hands, lest they cause more destruction.
I would hope. As she reaches over to the gate key and hands it to Zwine. There's another within this. Have you already removed the one inside of the golden sphere?
As you see them immediately sort of stop, and you see Sanseer on the far side holds his hand up as Tenzin kind of like strokes his beard and kind of clears his throat. And that is the next issue we wish to discuss you about. There, at the end, I suppose. At the end of, I suppose, the excavation of the cave, when all that remained was some gold pieces and the remaining pieces of the dragon. We had sent some mages to study these orbs, at least the one that you left behind. We had no way of reaching out from the city to receive it, so instead we sent our best experts. And it seemed, without word reaching us, required some eyes to go ensure that our mages had traveled safely. There was nothing left in that volcano. A few gold pieces, maybe this footsteps it seems, but the orb, gone. The remains of the altar, untaken, gone. The people left behind, gone.
Were there any feathers?
I suppose? Why would you know that?
There is a foe. Seth, the winged serpent. Someone causing trouble in the White Sea, consolidating power and collecting artifacts of an important nature to myself. Someone I plan on dashing into the sand. But I have it on good information that he now possesses one of these orbs. I had hoped it was the fourth, but it seems it was the first.
We had heard word that there was something of a Yonti incursion occurring as well, although thankfully Cradle Keep has been relatively safe from such. Perhaps guarded by the mountain, sort of anticipating the day it would reach us, but seems as if the city's been in good hands, by fortune's sake. But that is unfortunate for that poor creature, as I'm assuming you're going to go retrieve it.
Of course.
Wonderful. Valiant Vanguard, this is a heavy task to place upon you. This is growing larger and larger with every moment we discover more information about this incursion of the plains, and now with a name and potentially a horrifying face to place behind it, this sovereign. We might be asking you to do more and more. Travel beyond the realm of Mobia, perhaps even beyond your own comfort zone. There have been more, I suppose, news of incursions, places where the planes have been interacting with the world all across this world. Places that suggest there might be, if not the creation, the existence of more of these spheres. We think it would be best to find and gather them. And in the meantime, as we hope to study and better understand these things, if not simply keep them locked away, we would work towards something a bit more dire. We'd assumed it was going to be something more dangerous than, say, a supernatural phenomenon creating these things. Something knowingly doing so, something with purpose. And especially now, knowing it might be a lich. That is definitely a lich. We might have to enact a particular form of magic to ensure that this sovereign is no longer a problem for Hearth. And if we are going to invite you into this I suppose, scheme, if we are to ask this great task of you, I suppose we must share with you a certain touch of knowledge. Something not many people in this world would know of. To give you insight and clarity. Corin, if you would you escort, supposed now, your friendly Valiant Vanguard, to the center of the circle, as his hand waves, and you'll see the ground beneath you, lighting up beneath your feet, Tamarkan, a familiar shape buzzing into life. We believe it is time that you, Tome Keepers, Dragon Slayers, Valiant Vanguard, learn the truth of the incantation.
Oh, see, there you go, Swift Hollow. You didn't have to wait too long.
Really? Oh, so we can talk about that now.
Tamarkan. You know what their secret
You're,
is?
well, I mean, they haven't. I suppose we'll have to see.
Only a hint.
They're swimmers.
As yes, with Hollow gives a smile and its mic on.
Has
Let's just say magic didn't take. And she gives them a wink. The incantation. Especially, I guess, to Severum, or the ball.
I don't know what that means.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's to Santa, to a protective man.
As the magic beneath your feet suddenly shines and flashes, and you feel that familiar sensation, the feeling of the world all around you seeming to turn upside down for a moment as you were pulled through time and space, and you find yourself in a flash, appearing elsewhere, a place not where you were before, not before a great gate, not before a great door. Instead, you find yourselves standing in a long golden walkway, the air around you seeming to hum with the audible sound of magic and the slightest strange, almost mechanical creaking sound. As you begin to clear your vision, lights fading, you can hear the sounds clunk, 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 clunk of bootsteps walking ahead of you, as it seems like a number of people, assume the incantation, have been leading the way ahead of you. Your eyes begin to clear. You see gold and blue, bright, wondrous colors, the sounds of your footsteps echoing all around you in a place quite enclosed. I suppose, Persephone, with your natural attunement to nature, you'd feel you are indeed deep underground. But wherever you are far locked away. Your senses, connection to the outside world, immediately severed. And as your eyes begin to clear, you find yourself standing in front of a great mechanism. A tall gold and brass set. It almost looks like a compass, but it's held in place, save for the slight ticking and turning, it seems, of many diodes, gears, and what looks to be a long, winding bar, almost like that of a clock, ever turning. And at its center, almost like held in place by what looks to be chains and a socket, is a bright and beautiful gem. Or at least what appears to be a gemstone. You've seen this, Samantha. Something you even have on your person. A piece of magic contained and condensed into a crystalline form, but clearly in its appearance, pure magical force. And standing before you, the incantation of 10, keeping their backs facing away from you, save for one who's standing right next to what seems to be a close companion of his. All face away from you towards this massive crystal, towards the person inside of it. And you can see Tenzin putting his hands at his sides, looking up at this massive shape, looking towards this individual contained, apparently sleeping, it seems, perfectly content within its center. He did a wonderful job, do you not think? It takes quite the powerful mage to contain himself in such way, to construct this all on his own. Although he did quite a good job in ensuring that each one of us would be able to maintain it over the years. I suppose I get his ingenuity, wouldn't you say, my apprentice? Oh, I should also introduce you. Valiant Vanguard. Elminster. Elminster? Valiant Vanguard.
Is that a man in a crystal?
Huh.
Self-imprisonment, actually, for his own preservation. Although it does deem some explanation. Corin already knows this quite well, but, well, what's the easiest way to explain this? Oh, let me do it. Let me do it. I'm more for the theatrics. As this high-collared, brimmed lord, it seems, of the show, of the theater, steps forward. Let me tell the story. I love the story. You see, a long time ago, a small city owned by elves was made friends, I suppose, with a small settlement of humans. One of them, quite an eager young scholar. He was quite smitten by the forces of the arcane that the elves used, and wanted to become quite, I suppose, attuned with the same knowledge they shared. He wanted to share it with the rest of the world. Although the elves gave him quite a bit of wisdom himself, knowing that some knowledge must not be shared, some must be protected, some must be preserved. That young man would go on, in his later years, the dawn of humanity, to become the greatest arcanist there ever was. He was known as Elminster. He is the name behind every tome you've ever read, behind every formula every wizard has ever strung between his fingers. He is, by all means, the greatest wizard that ever lived. And, well, sorry, fireworks are going off. He's putting on shows. He's holding out his hands and sparks, presentations firing
The
off.
greatest wizard that ever lived.
That ever lived. And near the end of his life, once old age had taken him, he got the same thought in his head that every great arcanist does. That life will go on without them, and the secrets, the tasks they've been given, will outlive them and soon be broken when left in the wrong hands. He found himself in time, with his great prestige and power, having helped the nation of Mobia find its own footing against the other two, and that perhaps, in time, the secrets kept in Cradle Keep would be further preserved, only to be revealed when the time was right. But he could not allow, well, in his own way, the next generation of creatures to be trusted. After all, the young are always eager to learn. The young are always eager to pry away at the layers that hide secrets, even when they should not learn them. And so Elminster constructed a spell all on his own. A spell that would allow his soul to be severed into small pieces, and in time, formed into new flesh. Some quite a wonderful flesh, if you ask me. Forged from the crystal in which he imprisoned himself with, released upon contingency the moment he was held in place. And for generations, as the Cradle Keep's clock has turned, and more treasures, more secrets have been contained within the vault, the city has been ruled and watched over by the incantation of 10. 9 wizards, created from his magic, the 10th currently sleeping. All of us together, time and time again, living, born young, with soft and supple flesh as he reached over and pinches his vine right on the cheek. And others living longer, more resolute lives until their skin grows wrinkly and their beards grow wiry as Tendrit smacks Tessero's hand away. Knowing death and knowing life, born again each generation, a new face, a new perspective, to ensure that leaders would not grow stale as they do at, well, in other nations, as he glances over you, Persephone, and not grow too proud of their own names as in others. A forever cycle of life and death to preserve the great task of Elminster. You may have heard now.
Raises her hand.
Yes, as if I have heard this story once before.
Yes, you in the back. I didn't know if we're doing questions.
If there's 10 wizards, I only count 9.
The
That
10th
is-
is in the crystal, isn't he?
So with Hollow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And that is a sadder story. As you see Septim sort of stomp his foot on the ground. It is the reason why we have these walls. It is the reason why we have our duty. There were 9 wizards. At least we remember there being 9. We know that each of us encompasses a form of magic, a practice, you see, that stands the test of time, something to pass down, something to preserve. Whoever the 9th wizard was has been long lost to us. He was... We can't even put a name to him, but the moment he left the city... You all remember still, yes? He left the city. It seems as if all connection we had, the connection that allows us to be reborn in this crystal, the magic that connects us, faded. And no longer was there a ninth wizard. It is the reason why, when there is trouble in the world of Mobia, when there is turmoil, is why we turn to adventurers. Or if we're to leave, the magic binding us here may fade. And the pact, the promise our lives are meant to be towards the great Elminster would be for naught. It's why we couldn't go see your coronation, Samantha. Again, we apologize. I didn't want to be pulled into the void.
Understandable. But this does get my youthful mind thinking. Consider this, Tenzin, in the incantation. You all have confronted something unknown to each of you, but if I am to understand this, Elminster, the greatest wizard to ever exist, split himself into 9. The 8 of you, each a master in your own fields, each a master in your own schools. It seems this sovereign is a master of magic none of you understand.
You would think he would be the Lich.
Dying.
I find that hard to believe. Elminster was always against lichdom. It was a terrible practice brought about by the elves of olden days and their war against the dragons.
Well, if the connection was broken, doesn't that mean that he was able to do whatever it is that he wanted? And you said it yourself. The orbs have all schools of magic, and one that none of you know. And we just found out there is one of you not present.
And they seem to look to each other. That makes this all the more frightening, if that is true.
Wait a minute. That means you guys took my name, as I jokingly kick Weinstein.
Ow! I didn't take your name. Besides, I like Corin. I think I like Corin more.
So one of the brothers has gone astray?
You said he left. Do any of you remember why? There needs
We
to be
only
a
know we
why.
had one. Everything that was about him, the knowledge of him, who he was, what he was like, all gone. Completely severed.
Do you remember when? How long ago?
Annihilated.
Shortly after our creation.
And how long ago was that?
Much older than you, my friend, since shortly, I suppose after the Crown Wars. What would that be now? We almost 45,000. I've lost count, honestly.
Seems
I
like
haven't.
plenty of time to make those orbs.
I suppose so. As Tenzin will sort of step up to this great wheel and sort of put his hand against this long, slowly turning, like, diode around it. I'm sorry, Great Elminster. If these words are true, I suppose we may have failed you. But we will right this wrong. We will undo, I suppose, if it is his doing, what your creation has done. Besides, we've, at least one of us, has done some wonderful teaching and passed on some amazing, well, magical capabilities to one of his amazing students.
And he's floating again.
I'm simply stating the truth, Corin. There's nothing wrong with that. But this does lead us to what we're going to describe. You see, the magic used by Elminster to seal himself away, it would make the perfect weapon against a creature such as him. Liches are known for their tenacity. You kill them once, they show back up later, you have to find a source of power. Their Vythe could tell you all about it, right? Undead creatures, they never like to stay dead, do they? They certainly do not. It is actually in their nature, Tenzin, you know this. I'm just joking. But with the magic we have here, the magic of Elminster, the magic of imprisonment, if given time, we can weaponize it, form it into something of a scroll or a tool. And if we were to find this sovereign wherever he lies, we simply capture him. The use of the orbs will be gone. His magic null kept in a suspended state, held in place, imprisoned. Gives us plenty of time to also find his source of power, destroy it, and get rid of all the orbs. A masterful plan, really. I won't say how much part I had in planning it.
I can guess. Well, it is certainly better than trying to race against the clock, trying to find this lich's well of power and destroy it. All the gods forbid if it's stuck away on some demi-plane somewhere.
And that is what Galbin has been working on. And he just turns to you and smiles, and a long string of drool just drills down from his beard. He's been working quite hard, you see.
Yeah.
Is he going to be okay? I'm
He just
genuinely
needs a few
wondering.
nights rest. This is his job. This is what he does. He enjoys it as painful as it might look for him.
I mean, he's 1/9 of the greatest arcane master that's ever lived.
Clearly, it shows.
Yes. Prepare that if you can. And, well, we will see what we can do about collecting the rest of these orbs, gathering more information on this sovereign, and making sure that we are prepared for a confrontation that I would more than happily bet will not go smoothly.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. We were originally going to try and find you a task or send you across the map, it seems, but it seems as if you have your own business on your plate. Fortunately lined up with our own intentions. Well done, Samantha.
You wouldn't happen to have a map of where you want to send us?
Well, we do, although, well, might have to draw it up for you and give us some time. We've, more so ideas and gathering information.
Thankfully, it shouldn't tear our wonderful little box, as he looks at Tenzin, apart. A simple map, so feel free to communicate that to me. Oh, but as a matter of fact, if things are much more pressing, Samantha sort of just steps forward, whips out her scepter, conjures forth the book. If you would be so kind, teacher.
An autograph? Why are you all laughing? It's a great name, Tenzin.
That it is. This is a manipulation of magic. I'm sure you're familiar with the sending spell. This signature will let me reach you as much as needed.
It's a very rare spell, actually. Few in this world possess it.
And here I thought those so close to the celestial realm could call on it when they desired, but much harder for someone like you or me.
So be it. If this allows me to communicate with you across vast distances, so be it. You need me to write my name large, small? I'm going to write a large, if you don't mind.
There's plenty
Tenzin.
of pages.
1 moment. How much can I write here? Let me give me a moment. Let's see.
You should.
Lord
you
Tenzin.
should. I have an idea. You should
I
write
love
one
ideas.
letter of your. You should write one letter of your name on a single page until you spelled it out throughout several pages.
And that wouldn't interfere with the magic.
I have no idea.
No.
I'm just going to write Lord Tenzin, head of the Tome Keepers, guardian of the past and diviner of the incantation of 10.
That's
That should
quiet.
fit.
Exclamation point.
The 400th.
Pretty decent. The 400th, pretty decent. Not bad, not bad. I have heard longer titles in my time, but it seems, if I did not mishear, Elminster and your creation is as far back as the very beginnings of the era of Titans.
Oh, not that far. That's the beginning of nearly life on all of Hoth. This is simply the
Okay,
beginning
well
of the
then
Crown Wars.
you said 45,000. Did you mean
4,500.
you meant 4,500? Cool, got it.
No, we don't. We were not born for their dogs and cats, unfortunately.
I was like, wait a second, hold on, this is unfair.
No, no,
Literally?
simply the beginning of the Crown Wars.
Well, there is. Is there nothing else?
If you find yourself in a position where you find these spheres of annihilation and a thought occurs in your mind, perhaps these could be a weapon, I highly suggest against it, save for the most pressing of moments. Again, these things are dangerous. And it seems the more they're used, the more danger they impose. Although, as he looks over the rest of the incantation, who are just, at this point, you can see with all your snakes scowling at him, sometimes desperate moments require desperate action, and a bit of discovery along the way. Wouldn't you say, my apprentice?
Indeed. I have found these orbs to be quite resilient and persistent and stubborn, but they are a very interesting object of fascination, and the fact that they might lead to magic unknown, that is, I think, worth turning another page for. Wouldn't you agree?
No! Septim just
I-
stomps foot.
I do
Absolutely not.
Do not wish to use the orbs themselves, Septim. Simply understand the principles behind their creation. All the more better to deal with something that I think is a master of such an unknown school.
Do so outside of the city, far away from us.
Of course.
Look at that, he didn't even say no.
I may not be an expert on such things, but would it help to know what these orbs were created with?
It seems as if the raw fabric of magic itself, although, again, a nature, something in there we can't fully understand.
For no particular reason. When we were finding our way to the Feylands, I thought I would dive into some of the history of the elves. It's an interesting place and close to my heart as it seems. Does the name of Vopai Lawless ring any bells?
Yes. Supposedly, Elminster had tomes saying he was, well, one of the first creators of this, of the great vault of Alphatia, where we find ourselves now.
And one that created the keys. The one used in the Elven homeland. Created to take them to the wilds. And now, possibly, something that was used to open that door again. But now, it seems to be a bit tainted. Is it possible? Such keys created long ago could be the basis for such destructive magic. Something to hold it in place. Something to build it upon.
A frame of reference, almost, you'd say.
Hmm.
That is not a bad idea. If this thing is a lich, it is not discovering new magics, it might be basing what its knowledge is off of what has always been. It might be why these things don't have a true destructive interaction with the use of artifacts. I didn't know you were a scholar back there, young man.
He's full of
Ye-
surprises.
You thought you had nothing to offer. Tamar, always full of surprises. Well, if there is nothing else, I would like a word with the incantation, if you do not mind, and a bit of assistance in tracking down some individuals in your city.
Certainly, individuals. Individuals. We think you might know what you're talking about. There was some stirring or words spilled. Someone might have a connection, but we'll leave that to Septum. He's more of the eyes on the ground. Septum just kind of... He's completely done with the situation. For the rest of you, if you wish to spend the rest of your time in Cradle Keep, or otherwise perusing the archives, you are free to do so as Tome Keepers. As Vinyl just sort of like step up right next to you, Corn. Honestly, Corn, I kind of want to spend some time with you. Want to have some fun?
I was actually going to ask you, what have you been working on?
I've been working on. Oh, I've been kept busy. This whole orb, sphere of death, destroyed of the plains, kind of keeps my hands full right now. But I did some stuff before. I made a cool pocket watch for someone. I helped this guy over here put some magic in his shield for a little bit. Did it real like that, real quick, real good at it. Lots of little stuff here and there, but recently, death orb. Not really fun.
So let's go change that as I start pushing them out.
What? Okay, let's go. As you guys
Many
will
of you know what I could use a unicorn hair for.
A unicorn hair?
How do you have unicorn hair?
That is quite a concentrated amount of magic. Those creatures are celestial in nature, despite being found all across the world and even in the Fae. You could possibly grant to some great healing properties, or otherwise grant radiant light to some trinket, or perhaps a radiant touch to a weapon. Although it might take some time to do so.
How much time?
It depends on how much magic you wish to draw upon it. If you're looking for quick work, possibly not particularly quick. But sometime we can talk about, well, I suppose that should be said. Focus is currently on the sovereign situation, as we're now going to call it. Quite fun. The sovereign situation and the spheres of annihilation. We're not going to have much time for crafting. If you're wishing to use us for some arcane creations, might have to find your own time, or perhaps some other mages across the world to do so, as our hands are currently tied. Fate to the plains, as it were. I'm sorry, what was that? I was talking.
Do you keep the same name?
Oh yes, of course. Well, some of us have tried different things. Tessero was... You played with Mordenkainen, didn't you? Didn't really stick, did it? No, Tessero. Better name. But for the most part, yes. We carry on names throughout the generations.
Is there not any written history of the ninth name?
It doesn't seem to be. Again, we've tried. We've had countless generations to try and track down any information. It seems as if completely annihilated from history. Get off of me.
Get in the fucking water, Mordecai. How fucking dare you?
I wouldn't mind if I could take one of your time. Oh, access to a bit of history. I heard things from the Everlord, and maybe I can learn a bit more of the keys that a sovereign is using. It seems here within Kentucky.
Well, I suppose you've already seen the depths of this vault, and at least what seems to be one of the greatest treasures that lies within. I suppose it's not too much of a stretch to share some more history. If it seems to prove prevalent towards the task at hand, you might be onto something with these keys and these artifacts.
Wonderful.
Is there anything past this walkway?
It seems like it goes on further to a wall of fog. Just like if you look behind you, seems to be a bright silvery wall of fog. Selectively walled off. For boss zones.
Was there anywhere in Cradle
Traverse
Keep
the
that
fog.
Destiny knew of that, like a greenery of sorts, greenhouse sort of place? She wants to craft some herbalist stuff.
Sure. There's again a little bit of a preserve here. Mostly a lot of hot desert air. You get a lot of shade from the mountains, so there's enough to have some nice spots of green that aren't to be super preserved like they are in Roka. This is like mostly closer to the like the public area rather than the higher up archives you're in. But yeah, there's definitely places. Yeah, if there's nothing else, seems like you guys will start to disperse. I guess to do your own stuff.
Oh, Samantha.
Yes.
That creepy head that you have, can I borrow it?
You cannot eat it.
I'm not going to cook it. You said you were going to use it for something. Plus, Zion wants to study it.
What are you going to use it for?
Nothing really. Zion just wants to study it.
Oh,
I'll make sure he doesn't, like, destroy it or anything.
yes, please do. It is hard to come by, obviously.
So speaking of eating, you don't happen to have the rest of the body, do you?
No.
No, no, we
Corin.
don't. No, we do not. No.
It's ashes.
Oh. Chain. Oh well.
Zwine,
Oh, yes, I'll take good care of it.
you wouldn't happen to have access to the magic... God, my brain is just so full of conflicting information these days.
So disappointed you don't have any
Gentle
of this stuff.
repose.
That's more of a Vi thing. I don't really deal with the dead. I just kind of look at stuff. Mostly a life guy, but this is kind of interesting.
Would you mind calling upon such magic for me, wife, before we depart?
Upon your tool there, that head.
Upon the head and spine, yes.
Of course, yes. So if we're going to keep it here for studying, we're going to be keeping that thing as preserved as possible. Not often you get to study a Yugoloth.
You all are my best hope at perhaps turning that into something. As a matter of fact, wife, I will, after Zwine is done tinkering with it, turn it over to you for safekeeping for the time being.
That would be best.
Keep it intact, as I will mark that down on my register.
Sweet hello. You probably have a better mind than I do about these things. Can you accompany me with a little study session for a bit? Maybe there's
Certainly.
more to be learned.
You can teach me about my own history. I didn't really care much for it.
Okay.
This was hollow.
Head and spine.
You got your end of the bargain. I'm expecting no secrets soon as I walk away with wine.
What secrets? I feel like I didn't learn anything.
What?
About
You learned what? I mean, you didn't ask me about me last time.
Twisting my words, are we? Alright. I'll play fair.
Wait, are you going to tell him the secrets you haven't told me yet?
There's secrets you haven't told her yet. I want all of them.
We'll see.
As making your way towards the walkway, towards this wall of fog, things start to fade. You guys would find yourself dispersed back into the council chamber of the Incantation of 10, which I'm assuming you guys are going to be splitting up and doing your own thing for a little bit, I guess. So, what do
Sounds
y'all
like
see? Okay, split up gang, do your usual thing. Alright, going back down the lines, crack down this thing. Alright, Cooler, what are you up to in the city of Cradle Keep?
Fucking no.
Burrito time.
I don't know. Is there anything like any magical smithing supplies I could find in this city?
They do have access to magic. Everyone here has a touch of magic to them. As far as smithing, they have pretty basic stuff. Timur Khan really pillaged them last time. They have an armorer here who doesn't seem to be magical himself, but works with magical supplies. He has some stuff, but again, pretty expensive if you're looking for just metals.
Yeah, just kind of looking for some metals. I don't know, seeing if there's anything Cyclops boy would like. I don't fucking remember his name. Is it Orin? Someone with an O?
I did what now?
Okay.
Who did I pillage? I don't remember pillaging anybody here.
No, I mean, like, literally just going out,
everybody.
going out and buying a bunch of stuff from this dude, arrows and stuff.
I was the dude that made my fire arrows and shit.
Yeah, the dude you went to and like, I bought this and this and this, and got this commission. It's like, damn, dog. This guy made bank. But yeah.
Oh, is this the
You
place
look
I
at-
bought my magic bags?
It's basically the
So
stuff
you
you
got
got. You got a lot.
Okay.
There's a dude who has
Yeah.
access to magic supplies, and he makes stuff. As what are you looking for, Quillor?
I don't know if there's anything that could make either my armor better or my sword better long term.
If you're looking for materials, not gonna do it, my
yeah.
friend. You have an adamantine
Okay.
sword that's and also a mithril sword and a star metal sword. Like your things are decked out material wise, unless you're looking to like. Right now, you're probably at the best hard material you have. If you want to bump it up stronger, it's gonna be some raw ass magic.
Okay. Do they have any raw ass magic?
Not just hanging around. You'd probably have to go find someone again with time and magic to put something in there. Again, depends what you want to do.
Gems?
What's that?
Got any gems?
Yeah, there's gemstones.
Can I buy how many gemstones?
Enough. I don't have a count on my head.
No. Okay, can I buy 4,000 GP worth of gemstones?
It would cost you 700 and 7,500 for the actual turnaround price for buying those, but you can, yes, for just raw money for gemstones.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, find a shit ton of gemstones to help speed up magical production.
Finally, I'm not over encumbered by an insane amount of weight of gold. That's all I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'll go
Okay.
talk to people, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk to people, see if anyone has heard anything of from I'm sure no one's heard anything from Skyreach, but you know.
Yep, seems to be the same usual stuff. Skyreach has been quiet. Sounds like there was some ruckus, people trying to trade up there earlier, but that's been sort of resolved. Just yeah, people go up there, come back, they don't have much to say. Seems as if it's kind of been a quiet place, strangely enough, with all the weird shit going on in the world. Haven't even really heard much after the Dragon Slayer exhibition, it seems. They had a moment of like hurrah, and then it all went quiet. All right, and that's it. Corin, what you up to, baby? Hanging out with Vine?
Yeah, just studying whatever the fuck this head is, and I guess whatever else Wine is interested in doing more for fun.
Yeah,
Get him
mostly
away
just
from doing the orb stuff.
Oh yeah, he's mostly just sort of enjoying his time. He is definitely the free spirit of the incantation. He's just sort of just spending time with you. Seems like you guys had a close bond in early days, and seen him in many different faces over the course of time. And now he seems to be pretty happy just to have you back. He's probably asked you a bunch of questions about the Valiant Vanguard, what you think about him. Seems like there's a member of them that seems to be missing, but for the most part, seems like they're all the same old Valiant Vanguard.
Yeah, I tell them that they're all kind of fucking weird. What if Akashi's talking to Medusa? I don't know what that's all about.
What? That's weird. Benton says it's an old cult god or something. That's weird that he call herself that. That's kind of, I mean, that's haughty for even Tenzin's sake.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Okay,
Figuring out
just
what the
chilling
fuck
with your
this head is.
Yep. Yeah, gonna take some time, but he's definitely spending time using magic to sort of identify its properties to the best of its ability. Seems like it's obviously preserved by magic, but he's just trying to observe it. It seems it's strange. This thing is clearly flesh and was once alive, but there's no real viscera to it. It almost looks like this thing was a doll made of meat, and it's been carefully cut away from the rest of it. You're seeing what its properties are, what it's made of, what's keeping it intact, or what makes it what it is. Probably gonna take quite a bit of time, but enjoy some of his time with you, hanging out with his buddy. All right, there's nothing else. Samantha, what you doing?
You're muted.
Good point, thank you. I stay with the whatever incantation remains as my group disperses to pass on to Wythe some of my initial theorems, I suppose, on what to do with that head and spine, considering its connection to that Arcanaloth and its ability to more aptly control those spheres. Asking if he has any spare time, not to enchant, but simply to perhaps review, I suppose, the notes that I will pass along to him through Tenzin on using some of my own expertise in Arcana to try to shape that thing into something that will let me protect my allies from those spheres should we encounter them, combat another mage's ability to wield them, and expand my study of this lost school of magic.
I'll tell you this. It's possible there's enough magic in there that connects to these things, same magic that let that Mordred Kane interact with these things without being consumed by them completely. It is all possible, but you are tangling with magic of a Yugoloth. You are literally trying to conjure and use the magic of a fiend. That will come with risk, and it will be painful to use. It'll be something that will hurt you, more than likely. If you overused, or if it's very carefully crafted, will possibly be just as much as I suppose, a detriment as it is a boon. Dealing with Abyssal Force, it seems.
A less than ideal prospect, to be sure, something I would not make a deal with. But in the interest of not losing ourselves to literal annihilation, pain is a much better outcome, if need be.
Well, painful in terms of just using a magic item. May not be actual pain, it also might be something you suffer. Again, you're dealing with evil magical forces here. These things will take as much as you try to take from them. But they can be as best contained as possible to use them. Just forewarning you. Is why the use of occult magic is such a, well, guarded secret these days. But if it's something that comes down to being a necessity, we'll look into it, we'll see what we can make of it.
Other than that, Tenzin, I know this may be hard to believe, but in exchange, I think, for such a wonderful display of information and trust, I think there are things that you, and I suppose, since you are 1 in 8 now, I suppose all of you knowing is no less skin off my back, as with utmost sincerity, I explain my situation.
Give me a persuasion check. You are met by a chorus of what is the best word for it? Skepticism. Tenzin just laughs at the idea, not like mockingly, but just humorous of the whole prospect. The rest of the incantation aren't fully particularly buying it, although Tenzin just sort of softened the idea. It seems he leads with this theory that, well, perhaps you think you are this thing, perhaps you thought you were the Serpent Empress, but now you are mortal in this world. Such thing has never been done before. Nevertheless, would I find myself with a goddess beneath my wing. But nonetheless, your words seem earnest. I believe you certainly think you are, but I can't quite see it. Nevertheless, it would be a wonderful prospect, if it were true. Although from what I've heard, it does make me wonder, you don't seem to fit the part. We're not really great scholars of, well, the divine. We know of them, we respect them, greatly that of Ayu and the Silent Mother. But
Of course.
the forces of Medusa? Nothing but, well, truly horrific things to hear. You don't seem to fit that idol at all. You are quite the opposite, actually.
It is an interesting situation to have everything. Wield absolute power. Lets you be whatever it is you wish to be. But when the tables are turned, you do what is necessary to survive. I am 5,000 years old, Tenzin. There are a multitude of things I could answer to prove myself, if you so choose.
Oh, by the gods, no.
But
It'd be a terrible thing to ask a divine creature for knowledge. Not our place. Sound Mother forbids it. But I will say this. Whatever you think you are, whatever you would be, doesn't matter. The person you were, the great power you once hold, you are beholden to your own life and what you choose. I choose to live on in the memory of Elminster. I am his pride, I am his leadership, I am, well, the great strength that guides him and stands tall so that the others may stand tall as well. And that is what I choose to be. You were a great, powerful celestial with millennia of untouched knowledge, so be it. Not what you are now. What you are now is my student, coming before me to help save the world, it seems. You are my friend Samantha Deus. That is who I know.
interesting. Very interesting. Well, there is work to be done, and Septum, if you would be so kind, is there a minor announcement ability for this city? I do not feel like combing through its ranks to find 3 lost souls.
They're at the Gilded Scorpion.
Oh, they haven't left. Well,
Oh, they've been making leave to and from the city. They've been quite active. We've been keeping a close eye on the Yonti since the incursion word has spread, but it seems they're not trying to spread trouble. They've been mostly well behaved. We had word slip of a name among one of them, and we've kept our eye close on them to ensure that you and the other relationships is fine. I do not partake well in spying, but when it comes to the safety of our city, I will do whatever is required.
understandable. Not like I could stop you. As,
Certainly not.
Samantha, with that and with that opinion from, I guess someone she holds some respect for, she departs to the Gilded Serpent to collect her...
Gilded Scorpion.
Gilded Scorpion, rather, sorry.
It's right next to the Gilded Serpent.
Yeah, it's on Gilded Street, isn't it?
Yeah. Gilded Avenue, actually.
Gilded Avenue, my apologies. Yellow Brick Road? Alright. Can't miss it.
Strange enough,
Right
green
down the
brick
road. Can't miss
Oh,
it.
God.
Right down the road.
All right. What about you, Swift Hollow?
Yeah, I listened to this guy's lecture. I'm guessing it's really, this seems, I'm guessing, like, to my constant intention as I look at to, like, Brendan, is that it's not really more so listening to the lecture, but also trying to, say the right words to try to bait him into saying something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of
Sure.
a two-pronged situation.
Yeah.
It is
Leading
asking,
him on a bit.
yeah, asking truthfully for some necessary information, but also, in the same point, getting information about other shit that you probably shouldn't know about.
So it's one part,
Sure.
listening, but also it's the dual part of us just also interrogating him.
Gotcha.
Which I was actually pretty good at.
I'm going to say, with both of you working together to do that, give me a deception check with advantage as you are misleading this person. Whoever wants to lead it, misleading this person
Ooh.
into trying.
I'm
spill the
probably
beans.
leading this shit because Tamar's the one that is the question he wants to ask.
Smithall is just like will be his how would you say, his backup face. You know, if he goes too far, she'll say
As
something
we-
to try to soothe him, try to calm him down.
As we go into the duo team, Switchhall, you can feel our bond.
You hold her hand
Oh,
when
yeah,
you do
I
it.
can imagine that we're just also you
God
know,
damn it.
we kind of bring up our hand
Like
or
it's
what have you, and then we
emboldened
sort
a
of just whisper into our rings, feeling that bond too.
Yeah,
planning our
deception with
attack.
advantage. Where's my deception button? There it is. Come on, baby!
Oh yeah, I believe in you. Oh my,
Ooh.
not 20.
Wow.
Wait.
As... God damn
Oh
it.
wait, hang on.
Ah, 31, damn.
31.
Just slightly above impossible.
So basically, go into it with the general idea of share some information that he read when first looking into the keys. This thing that they used when in the Elven Land to get into the Feywild. He learned that there were some other keys, although he understands that there used to be an Elven city here of Elphacia. That apparently there was also some kind of portal or so, but apparently it was destroyed long ago. But he's curious. The new key was powered by this horrible orb of death, but what powered the keys before that?
Good question. And with sort of that leading on and the probing of Swift Hollow for just the right particular details, leading, I'm assuming, on Tenzin for some deep, or you would find that seems like it gives you a pretty comprehensive and somewhat tiring, long-winded explanation, as it seems like he's more than willing to share some of this long ancient history. Indeed, there were 3 keys across these elven cities. One in the ancient city that now resides as Ronin, the other one in the ancient cities of Alphacia that is now Cradle Keep, and even one far off in the city of Celestia that has now somewhat become a protected, settlement by the city of Tyrion. These 3 keys were all created as a way to access either, at the time, other planes that it seemed like these places were connecting to. The elves were especially close to that of the Feywild. It seemed the natural life inside resonated with their magic quite well. And also allowed them to do things like perhaps access sheltered areas, places protected by magic without doors, vaults and otherwise like sanctums and sanctuaries to the gods. Places that most people would not be able to go. With the use of these keys, a gateway would be created. And it seems like the one over in Ronin had long since been destroyed in a great war, one of the final climactic confrontations between the elves and the dragons that ultimately created the city that is now. The city of Celestia has since offered their key up to the city of Tyrion as their living shields, people protecting them, one of their last great treasures of the Elven nation on the west or the east. And Alphacia has since confiscated theirs within the actual. Where is it? Well, he did roll a fucking 31. They've kept it very close. They do.
Impossible.
It seems that Septim himself actually carries the remains of this key. Septim keeps it on his own person as the head of the keys, one might call it, allowing him, if ever need be, to access the vault, normally using the power of magic circles and otherwise to open the great mechanism. If required, he does keep essentially the backdoor key to access all the treasures within. You do know that although the original one was destroyed and it sounds like a new source of power has been used to grant it new life, the original pieces of magic used to power the keys, supposedly, they've yet to be dissected and opened up with risk of breaking them. It takes great and careful magic to open these things up and access what's inside them, although if you don't care, you don't care, just break it open. It seems as if they said that the light, supposedly fallen, pieces of knowledge itself granted physical form, shards of pure divine power, tiny in size, seem to activate and access that sheer amount of magical power required to access the inaccessible. Supposedly the last gifts, the greatest and most knowledgeable tears of Ioun that fell to the world. But again, he hasn't dared open up their key and honestly believes the key is kept in well hands. Better keep it out of the hands of most people because it will intentionally cause some trouble if someone were to steal it and open up some doors. If not here in the vault, other places. As yeah, it seems like these keys in the right hands and empowered, they could literally not only create portals and open up doorways, but literally you could potentially cast it on someone's house and a portal like a portcullis would open up and you can just walk into their house.
Yeah,
power to create doorways.
Try a little bit deeper of trying to figure out would every key work wherever the key would work? Could you take the one that Tenzin had and use it in the portal in the Elven Forest to open up that portal?
It certainly seems so.
Ooh. Nice.
Alright, you ready for some Omega impossible sleight of hand bullshit to my car?
I think the last thing he wants to pry is he mentioned how Tenzin had the pieces of the key, and Tamar heard that the key was destroyed.
I thought Septim had the pieces of the key.
Yeah, does that
Septim.
mean that it was destroyed, but Septim just keeps the broken key?
Seems as if, whatever reason, it wasn't just. If he keeps it on him, assuming it still functions. Let's see. You did there with a fucking 31. Goddammit. Yeah, it does seem like information long ago. It was possibly seen some damage or was said to be destroyed to keep potential thieves from reaching out and catching it, taking it, because it is still a long piece of history. Another potential secret, one might say, of Cradle Keep, that it exists still.
So Septim might have fixed it.
Seems like it was never destroyed in the first place.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Keep some elven thieves from sneaking up and being like, hey, my granddad told me about this key.
I think that's about all the secrets that I needed, and also that I'm gonna push my luck to try to pry out of it.
Yeah, any more they might catch on. But it's
You're
okay.
trying to steal shit from me.
I
okay.
try to avoid any talk of like the actual vault itself. It's always in reference of the key in the Elven Forest and the other ones of if they were used in these ways, could they be destroyed? Could they be fixed? Never
Gotcha.
mentioning the vault.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we could just like message each other and you're like, oh, that's what you're trying to do. And yeah, so it's all would catch on. Yeah.
Okay.
And as
Well, good shit.
as we're getting to the end of the lecture, Tamar just starts acting real bored and real fucking obnoxious and just wandering around and touching shit like he's just lost patience and starts just like a bad student that is just obviously not fucking paying attention, and it just looks like I'm wasting his time.
Oh yeah. At that point, when you've literally clearly stopped listening to what the great Tenzin is telling you, he would you'd probably like cut the lesson short and offer you guys a chance to stay, maybe learn some more in the library, but otherwise you're free to do as you wish. It seems like you're kind of wasting his time, his world-saving time right now.
Whatever. Hey, is there anything else you need?
I think I'll stay in the library a bit longer.
Wonderful. I am going to go find the bathroom. I'll be right back, and then we go find the others together, yes?
Mm-hmm.
As I start to walk away, I twist the ring and just say, once we return, a little bit of a scout, a little wander around, yes?
Here. As Sothal reaches into her cloak as she pulls out a small bird. Small mechanical looking bird, and she also hands you some parchment and some pen and ink. If you need anything, just write a note, give it to it, and it'll find me.
Oh, handy.
I'll be in the library.
As Tamar will wander off to try to find a bathroom. And in his time in the bathroom, he waits a decent amount of time. That dude's having a squat amount of time. And then whoever else is in the bathroom might hear some grunting as Tamar's gonna use 2 charges of his shifting ability.
Mm-hmm.
Ears go long, nose grows sharp, sensing all those around him, trying to figure out where each member of the 10 are. 1, to see if they are still in there, the meeting, the audience chamber, to make sure it's vacant. And 2, see if he can sense the man that's crystallized and steal away. He's within 5 miles.
With your power, you'd be able to sense that it seems like after the dispersing of your sudden emergency meeting in a way, the most of the incantations seem to be back in the council chamber. The other ones seem to be scattered across the city, one of them far off, seemingly with Corin, I guess, and the other one possibly down speaking maybe with Samantha or someone else. But otherwise, seems like they're trying to resume the meeting that you guys sort of kind of not really interrupted. But trying to sense the man in the crystal, this Elminster, completely blocked off.
Okey-doke. Yeah, he'll unshift from his transformation, go back to meet Swift Hollow, and using the rings inform her that either we need to wait here a while or maybe return at night. Don't worry, I've been waiting.
Either or. As yes, Matalo is looking up books on artifice because well, she had a really good teacher. He's not here, and he's probably not on his bird either.
Probably not.
Probably
Nope.
not.
You probably it's kind of a new development actually. The use of artifice combining it's been an old practice of combining magic with objects, but with the level you're performing, it seems to be a bit more advanced. But you'd find plenty just to study from. You know, get some ideas, get some actual focus that you can channel your own belief and magical capabilities into.
She has
Good
the
shit.
rudimentary understanding that artifice isn't about big magic like wizards, sorcerers, warlocks, etc. But it's about little magic, high efficiency. Through
Exactly.
objects.
Making the best of your tool.
Yep.
All right.
So she'll develop more ideas.
I'll wait like half an hour while Switchhollow does stuff. I'm gonna have a little short rest and just like do it in a place where I can keep an eye on the council chamber doors, see if anybody leaves. If nobody leaves during that time, I'll just go get Switchhollow and we'll go find the rest of the group.
Yeah, it seems like their meeting's gonna take longer than that. But yeah, okay. In that time, slide on over. Persephone, what are you up to? Looking for that little greenhouse, it seems?
Yeah, because I need to stock up on some herbally supplies and make some stuff.
Okay. One sec. Alright, what exactly are you looking for?
Well, I know it's a desert, but Persephone's realizing that cinderberries and wildroot would probably be really useful considering we're going up against a bunch of Yuan-Ti and only one of us is immune to poison.
That's definitely true. Let's see. Forest. Not a whole lot of wild root they'd have out here. These things are more condensed in forest. They do have a bit of a greenery for some, but it's you'd basically to be salvaging from what they'd have. They'd probably offer you about 200 GP worth of materials. They're going to take everything they have.
Yes, but I would want to help grow some of the seeds because Persephone would feel bad, so she'll use a little druid craft to grow the new batch for them.
Sure.
No, you take everything they own and leave them out on the street, or you get nothing.
Scorched earth. Let's see. Yep, they also do seem to have. Let's see. Actually, they would have a considerable amount of cinderberries. It seems like the other side of the mountains here, where the winds blow and don't completely tarnish away any life, there is a small patch of jungle actually on the other side of Mount Cot, pressed up against the mountains themselves. And sometimes people do venture over there, although it's a bit dangerous recently. Not only are there land sharks, but also supposedly Yuan-Ti seem to fester around there. Might have a little collection there, it seems. But they do have a decent bundle of cinderberries. Let's see. You think they'd have about Ugh, God, berries are so fucking small, aren't they? Oh, God. They'd probably have about 200 or so. They'd sell them for about 1 GP per 20 bundle of them.
1 GP for a bundle of 20?
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy 4 bundles.
Gotcha.
So that's like.
I would warn you, don't eat these. I hope you got a good use for this, because people eat these all the time. They're really sweet, and they throw them right up.
Well, you're not really supposed to eat them raw. The trick is you're supposed to mix it with something.
There you go. Seems like you know what you're talking about. All right.
How cocktails were invented.
So let's see. I added 40 berries, 80 berries.
Okay.
20 GP each. I'm trying to math. How much did I spend on 4 bundles of cinderberries?
4 bundles, basically, that is 4 GP. Again, they're not very expensive.
Neato. Okay. That's great. And okay, that's even better because I didn't think I was gonna get any in the desert. I'm gonna craft some stuff.
Okay.
And I suppose everyone here is busy. I don't think anyone could give me help, so I'll have a. She's gonna spend some time making 5 lichen poultices using some knapweed. To give it a little bit of a boost.
The lichen poultices, look at that. Nice, nice, nice. Let's see, crafting that, cost there. Brain melting, 25 GP a day, 25 GP for make it. So 1 day for a lichen poultice. No?
No,
1
it's an
hour.
hour.
1 hour, that's right. Super cheap. Good shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you spend a few hours putting these things together. Easy piece of stuff. Just doing some good old-fashioned crafting. Some haven't done a little bit. I'm assuming once you guys' business is done, you're meeting back up at the old Gilded Scorpion where you guys always seem to stay, right? So we can lasso you back together. As much as I love when you split apart.
You can check out books, right?
They prefer you keep them in there. If you're taking from the deep tomes, keep them in there. But you can check out books for a little bit. You're a tome keeper. They trust you.
Yeah, I'm a tome keeper.
Keep this tome.
All takes a couple. All takes a couple that she was reading.
Just bring it back in good condition. I won't hunt you down and kill you. You've been marked.
Oh, unfortunate. How ironic.
Unfortunate for you.
Call the ambulance.
Okay.
Literally pulls out.
But yeah,
Anyways, yep.
assuming time passes, you'll meet up in the Guild of Scorpion with Samantha meeting there first. Can't hear you, my friend.
I will try to, no complexity about it. Can I buy greater healing potions?
They do have some healing potions here. Greater probably the best ones they have. It seems like they're not recently, like last few months. Recently bought out of a shit ton of potions, but they do have a few. You can buy them for about, what was it? I had it on here, 300 GP per bottle. Yeah.
Okay, and do they just, for inquiry's sake, do they have magical potions of, like, drink this to gain the effects of a spell, anything like that?
Again, they recently got bought out. Seemed like a very familiar friend of yours went out and just bought a fuck ton of their potions before you guys went and fought a dragon. He's been working on them since.
They haven't recovered. We fucked their
You bought all of them.
Oh, he's long since financially recovered. He's just never going to stockily recover. From
Yeah.
this. Those took years.
Okay, what's the plat conversion rate again?
All of it. Just
How many-
dump it on the table.
I need,
10
what,
to a gold.
30 plat in order to buy a single, greater healing potion?
Yes.
Divided by 30, I can buy 22 of those. How many does he have?
Only has about, well, let's see. Potion. Still low supplies. Only has about 6 in stock.
30. I think my bank account's still good. Yeah, I'll buy that. I'll buy all 6 of those. That's 180
Okay.
platinum.
Okie dokie.
Then I'll go to the silver whatchamacallit doohickey.
Not even it. Go to the wrong location.
Because we're all good. We're
God damn it, on Silver Street again. Ah!
I go to the Gilded Scorpion.
There you go. Because, yeah, you'd probably find slinking around in the corners there some familiar shapes. One of them being a Yuan-Ti pureblood you'd met long, long ago. Different pretenses, different situation, but now find yourself once again faced by him. Seems to be a acolyte, one might even say a martyr of the goddess Medusa. One of the last few worshippers of her in the world, Itzael. Sort of hanging out in his own sort of corner is another familiar face, only met a couple times and really spoken with a few. A Yuan-Ti that you learned his story, he was one of the few taken by the Winged Serpent cultists and apparently stolen away and turned into a Yuan-Ti, was once human. Seems like he really wants to get some revenge on some Yuan-Ti after all this is done, since he was made hollow. You'd find the Assassin Vistus. And sort of draped around Vistus's lap is a long and winding serpent. But you would know that the way this serpent's head rises and sort of sways as you approach in a very strangely happy demeanor, that this is another Yuan-Ti, one who prefers her serpentine nature to her humanoid, that of being Isaka. Although as she sees you approach, she sort of wavers a little bit in the air and sort of coils up in Vistus' lap, who just puts a hand on her head and pushes right back down to settle her down. Seems as if they sort of got themselves a bit into, not into trouble, but the current establishment, already somewhat skeptical of Yuan-Ti, say for you being a Dragon Slayer, sort of keep their distance from them. Although, as you approach, these guys seem to lift up from their hooded cloaks and their sort of shadowed demeanor and usher you to approach. Surprised to actually see you all of a sudden.
Eh. Uh. Eh. Yeah. I exist.
You
I
arrive
must
without
admit,
word.
It is a symptom of being powerful, I suppose. But I do. And my business in the Elven lands has come to a fruitful conclusion. And so now all my efforts, as I just sort of bring forth like all of my snakes as a sort of symbolic body language, are focused on crushing that blasphemer in the desert. I must
You're fairly done wasting
apologize for the
time.
delay.
Finally done wasting time. Good. Very good. Very good.
Well, I heard you all managed to keep yourselves out of trouble for the most part, so that's not a concern, thankfully. And
As like Vistus leans back, so like you see him like treating his what looks to be some loose scales on his chin with the edge of a knife. Vistus kept trouble out of Greater Keep. Filthy snakes saving their way in, sliding and slithering. I found them and removed them. Not without making them talk, of course.
Information. Good. I have learned that our quarry has absconded from its last known location. You wouldn't happen to already know where they are now, would you?
Something like that. Not a location by map, but a location by name. Oh. Purebloods. They have no emotion. They are hollow, but they know pain. And when introduced, you hear all sorts of emotions spill out of them. Something quite horrible. They speak of a place called the Lost Isle. It is one of the last places in all of the White Sea where supposedly the treasures of the Medusa Serpent Empress reside, untouched and untarnished save from those who worshipped her. But they're all gone now. It seems to be in the hands of the Winged Serpent. Does not surprise. But where it is exactly, only the most devout know. Malisons and abominations, and that man-carver that serves him. Only one who seems to know its location. As he's like sitting up in his lap, that snake sort of slides and then sort of shoves herself to the edge of his lap before just immediately shifting, and you can see she returns to what was to be a mostly humanoid shape, and he just immediately shoves her off of his lap. Yes, yes. They call her the man carver. She's a very interesting individual. Her name is Serastis. She's a young tea gone through many rituals. I served with her in my time as playing an cultist. There is a location I had known for quite a while on the other side of Mount Cot. I played the part of an eager serpent to get closer and learn more. I walked, I ate, I spoke with them. Not very fun folk, I'm afraid. This place, this temple, a very small and now nearly devoid of life one. It is where many of the oldest practices of Medusa were once held, where some of the most foul and most foul and abominable of practices were started. And within there is a pit of Marshak. It is a place where many humans have been taken and turned into Yonti, this one being one of them. Oh, but it is currently guarded by the Serastis. She is quite a harrowing Yonti. I have not seen anything like her. Quite brutal and filled with rage, but loyal to the Winged Serpent to a fault. I do not care much for gods, or what they represent, or who worships them. Simply for the freedom to be who I wish to be. And I must say, playing the part of a serpent for so long felt like I was finally in the right skin.
You wish to find yourself. Well, I recall what you want. As she looks at Isaraka. This, I know you thirst for vengeance, and that is a thirst I plan to let you slake. But there have been slight changes, my companion.
No, we're not killing him. This is going to be useless to me. I want to see him die. I want to see that
no.
glass from his mouth be torn from his head.
Seth will meet a true and final end. He will be taken. There will be no mercy for him. He has made his bed, and he will be buried in it. But the purebloods, they are desperate and without guidance, and I cannot fault them all for being less than Israel, devout to a fault, she says, looking at him. The faith has wavered, and with good reason, but their reason is still there. My group and I will make the offer for the purebloods to yield, and if they yield, it is to be respected. Do I make myself clear?
You see Visas immediately spits out a bit of scale. They will stab you in the back the moment you turn. You know this.
That is why I have a very, 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 very large collection of handcuffs.
You see this one turn into a snake and you want to handcuff them. Okay.
It is not a gift that all of them possess, but if they turn into a snake and try to bite me, it is not going to go well for them, as I am sure you are most aware. I
simply
offer
say
them
kill
mercy.
them, but do what you wish. If one puts a blade to me, I will do what my blade does best and cut. That is my
Always.
purpose.
Do not hesitate. If your life is threatened, your life takes priority. Always. Israel. What is it you want?
I want to see this blasphemous god be torn from this world. I want to see the people watch him fall. The wings torn from his back and watch him hit the earth like any other man. I want to see this misworship of her power be removed, and for the glory of the great Lady of Greed to rise. I wish for the people, the Yonti, to see the error of their ways and return to the wonderful Lady of Avarice, to give themselves up to the hollowness as we are meant to.
How tall is Israel?
About like 5'6". He's not particularly tall.
Oh, a little short baby. Sort of come up to him, only an inch taller than him. And sort of put my hands on his shoulders if he lets me.
No.
He does. He sees my hands move.
No.
And he sort of Okay, got you.
Don't touch me. You are not my lady.
Israel. I wonder then, if you hear the words of Medusa once more, and her message has changed, if her view on the world has changed, and she makes the demand of the Yonti to grow alongside her, where will you find yourself? She has been silent for so long.
I live in a world where Yonti declare themselves as gods when they are not. If it is truly her voice, I will obey. It is my purpose. She is my empress. If it is not, I will silence another false god.
We shall see then. And Vistas, do you wish to return to where you came from? I cannot promise such a thing.
There is no point. Do you not see me? I was a man once. I had a family. I have loved ones. And they took that away. Put me in a pit, turned me to serpent. The scales are not as far as they go, the emptiness. Do you know what that is like? To love something and have that love turned empty. An echo, a dream that you used to be connected. Someone you used to wake up with every morning, now just a painting on the wall in your memory. No connection. I do not feel hatred in my heart, but I feel something similar, something animalistic. And if this is the life I have been given by the winged serpent, these are the fangs I am to bear, I will use them. That is my purpose. Give me a chance to rip and tear and get revenge. It is mine.
Like looking in a mirror. But when your hands are slaked with blood, you will still find yourself empty, I think. What would you have me do for you then, Vistas?
Find me a god who can cure me of these scales. If not, give me man's cure to his agony. I'll be fine with it. He flicks up another scale.
I will see what I can do. Well, Samantha sort of maneuvers between them and finds a seat at a large enough table, just sort of kicks back and settles in. And now we wait for the rest of the vanguard, and I would say pack your things if you have collected anything. If you have coin to your name and you need supplies, acquire it. We depart today.
Very well. Where should we be going?
To Roka.
Very well. As long as it is a step closer to our goal. As Izael just gets up and walks out. Heading up to looks to be a room. Not very much of a people person. As yeah, over time, group would eventually scuttle their way back into the Gilded Scorpion, and you'd find yourselves, like greeted with Samantha, and it looks like a couple of other individuals of the Yanti persuasion who would either promptly or very quietly introduce themselves.
I'm a friend!
Persephone's gonna ask the barkeep if she can have a couple of bottles of juice to go.
Sure, yeah. They have some cactus juice and otherwise some dense sweet berry juice.
Let's go with the sweet berry juice.
All right.
As I pay him however much that is.
Oh, Dragon
And-
Slayer's on the house.
Ah!
Ah! Thank you.
I put coins on the counter anyways because it feels wrong.
I don't know. I give him a gold piece per bottle.
Hot damn.
There you go, buddy.
I'm so rich, I have no concept of money.
Change.
Here's a deed to a house. Bye.
You go. No, how much is the food? Oh, here's 2 gold pieces for bread and water. Thank you.
It's literally for like.
Here's $100.
Table.
Thank you.
I feel exactly like when I first came to Oakwell, and I had it's awful. Okay, hi.
Hello.
Stephanie's gonna just start uncorking these bottles, take out a mortar and pestle, and just start grinding up some cinderberries to mix with them.
Are you the auntie that are coming with us?
So it seems.
Pleasure to meet you, my friend. I am Tamerka. We become fast friends.
No, I don't think that'll be possible. I am Israq. It's so good to meet you, Tamarkan. As this woman's arms immediately like snake around yours, like pulling you close like a weird half hug, and then moving to the next person to hug each and every one of them. Completely wrapping yourself around them, it seems. Even up to you, Koldor.
Oh, you're more friendly than most of the auntie I've met.
I am Persephone. And I give her another hug. You
And
hug
she'll
Henry and
immediately-
Samantha.
Who hugs harder?
I mean, you
Who
find for a
hugs
moment,
harder?
as you hug her back, her body immediately twists and contorts, and you find yourself wrapped up by a big old, looks like a constrictor snake. Not trying to kill you, but still tightly hugging onto you, and you can hear she actually speaks to you in this form. So very good to meet you as well.
I like this one. She's nice.
Clingy,
So
to be
Samantha.
sure.
How deeply into our troubles are we dragging our new friends?
Each of them have their reasons, though some far stronger than most. As you notice some of her snakes, like emphasize each one of those words. The some causing some of them to look towards Vistus, the most causing some of them to look towards the intertwining serpent that Persephone is wrangling with. I will take them as far as they wish to go. If they want to race me, to take that blasphemous head, she says with a smile looking at Vistus, then so be it. If they fall, I will see to it that they, well, find a more peaceful end, I suppose.
Is that it? So no plans of taking over the world for them, yes?
That's our job.
Taking
Our
over the
plan.
world, no, but, well, if I cannot reclaim what was mine, I cannot declare the changes I have in mind, Tamakon. So we will cross that bridge when we come to it. As you notice, like this interesting and sort of quite foreign to you affect that Samantha has just been sort of putting on, spending time with these other Yonti.
So, not talking about keys and doors and balls and things. Okay.
Not yet. Let me deliver
I'm
on what
definitely
I've
going
promised.
to rock keys and doors and balls.
Then Sweetalo and I will share a tale another time. It's not all that important anyway. What is the plan? We leave, we go, we stay the night.
Oh, do not misunderstand. You do not have to keep such a thing a secret from them. It
Ah.
is doubtful that they will find themselves aligned with what we are facing in the end.
But domination
Frankly,
it is then.
frankly, I do not actually care about any of this,
Exactly.
unless it is pertaining to what we are doing.
It actually does.
Oh, well then, proceed.
Deeply into
What are
the
we doing
troubles you get dragged.
I do not care. Deeper, deeper,
If
my
you
knife
see
will
a
dive.
small black orb, don't touch it.
I'm searching your words for a meaning. I find only the most direct. So be it.
I think you'll know when you see it. But anyways, as I'll share what and have Swiftall help me fill in the details. Because Tamar does not have the mind for these things, but tries his best to just fill them in on what they learned about the keys, sort of leaving out the bits and pieces that pertain to the vault and stuff, more that the key that we sort of have in our possession could actually be powered not by the orb, but by something very resembling to what Tamarkian believes Persephone has one of. Don't you have a Ioun stone? You have an Ioun stone. That Samantha has, although maybe one that more powerful. Who knows? But they say that a bit of a touch of the divine, the piece of Ioun, the tear of Ioun, able to power such things. And tell them now there was another one in the capital. That, if rumors ought to be true, if these things are so difficult to destroy that the 10 still have theirs and they spread the rumor that theirs was destroyed, it might be possible that another one also exists out there.
Yeah, definitely sounds like the one you have in your possession is the one from Ronan. That's the one that what's his face pillaged and fixed, and then you know there might be one here in good old Alphacia, and then over on the far east side in the nation of Tyrion, you know there'd probably be a place in the Celestia, the city that guards it. Yeah, a city that guards it seems to might possess it possibly.
Nothing super important to our mission, but just the little things that he learned.
Fair enough, fair enough. As I will take a moment, pull out my tome and send a message to Tenzin, asking for a teleport to Roka in about an hour, if that's all right.
Yep, certainly. They'll have to clear up their last meeting. It seems like it's now finally starting to clear up after so much time has passed. But yeah, it seems like if you guys need a ride to Oroka, they can offer today's teleportation for you guys. They have nowhere to go.
They can't.
Exactly.
It can't go.
There is
After
one
I
more.
finish.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's nothing. It's just Persephone when she's done crafting 5 bottles of cinderberry, sweet berry juice. She's just going to pass it to everyone but Samantha. Okay, considering what we're dealing with, we may need. I didn't have time to make. I didn't have time to make antitoxin. But this is a juice that I've made with cinderberries. So if any of the auntie affect us, poison us, we can drink this and we should be all better. But only drink 1 a day. Do not drink more than 1 a day.
I just drank mine.
Now, was I not supposed to drink it? You're handing me a drink! I thought we were drinking!
I saw
Hollow
Tamara
just
drinking, so I assumed I was to drink it as well.
Switholo just puts her potion in the many pockets on her Batman TM belt.
As that sweetness spreading through Quillor kicks you in the gut. And then immediately, without hesitation, without control,
Oh, that's taut.
vomit all over the table. As for a moment, you feel some sort of strength wash over you, and then immediately washes away. As
Tamara
you
doesn't
vomit
throw
up.
up either?
Oh, he throws up too. If you drink
Oh,
to the second one, all over the table.
Is that because I just mixed raw
Let me see.
cinderberry with juice?
Hold on, let me see. Hold on. We got 1, 2.
I thought that was
I sexual
I thought I could mix
manipulation!
it.
It's just
I
a
thought I
recipe!
could- that I could mix it with juice and it'd be fine.
Oh, you're still drinking the juice of it.
1, 2.
Okay.
3, 4.
Well, it's
Throw
only supposed
up
to have
straight on
10.
Tamar.
It only has 10 berries per bottle.
What of moments of realization, I knew this would happen, and I took the sacrifice for the group, and now I know not to take it when we're about to fight. Oh, my stomach.
Kind of smells potion.
I think that's a little too sweet.
Thank
Sniff,
you.
sniff, sniff.
Thank you, Samantha.
Oh, I don't clean you.
Never mind.
I clean the table.
I'll just be here in my filthy bit.
I just inhaled the scent of the flowers on my armor.
I'll clean you.
After-
I'll clean Tamar Khan. Because that'll be the first time that Quildor has ever thrown up by drinking anything. Because
You
usually
too.
Khan's like 48.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if I'm going to make more, then we need to go to the jungle because that's about all that they had. Well, that's not true, but I don't want to go back and have to explain to them what happened.
Oh, I could.
Go back and buy it. Although, I don't think this worked.
Are they supposed to puke? Is it getting rid of the poisons that way?
Yes,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
that's exactly what it does.
Whoa!
Oh, purchase the system, so to speak.
Is there not magic? Here, let's just simply search. You're all cleaned up. You can go find Isael at the same time. I have an idea. As Samantha will try to see if it is possible to get some scrolls of protection from poison.
Nope. Sorry. I'm sitting thinking, like, would they have it here? Nope.
First of all, give me your potion real quick.
Maybe in Roka. I bet they have it in Roka.
What does it look like, Persephone? The greenhouse.
I describe it to Swift Hollow.
How far away is that?
It's on the other side of town. You guys are in the nicer district. It's more in the urban district, like the more spread out, populated areas where there's actually some grass growing and some, looks like a greenhouse somewhere out there. Probably seen it in your slinking.
Most places where you want to get some plant supply, it's usually a building with really tall walls and a glass ceiling. Like the one in Crossway is literally a glass dome.
I could run and get some. If we still need more. Considering how we wasted too.
Well, I have Wild Root, which we can apply directly onto wounds. So that was kind of my backup in case we ended up going through all of the Cinderberry juice. I might have to fiddle with some of these. Actually, you know what? Give me back. I might have to fiddle with them so we all don't throw up with them.
You
Well, I mean, I
are
could-
disgusting creatures.
Say what I said. I say test it to perfection.
I could probably cut the toxins out of it. Make a reduction. Probably makes good sauce. Like syrup.
Wait, like jam? Would it be like warm jam?
Why would you eat warm jam? I like my jam cold.
That's, Persephone, it did taste delicious.
But if you do heat it up and give it like a honey kind of consistency, that could work.
Yeah, I could cook us pancakes one day and just use this.
Well, sure. I just... It works best when you're actually poisoned. But I suppose eating it like the day of us going to face a bunch of Yuan-Ti is also a good idea.
How long does this...
A day.
It protects you for a day?
Yes, that's why I just wanted us to have it on us.
Wait, so then am I still protected for this whole day?
It's not complete immunity. It just means you have a better chance at fighting off. the chance to
You
get
also know
poisoned.
that if you once you throw them up, all the effects fade away from you.
And no, that's all you spit up all of the berries. You have to hold it down.
How do you hold it down then?
I don't think you can
There was
hold
no
that
holding
down.
that down, Persephone. Like it crawled up out of me.
That's why Corin and I are gonna cook them.
Wonderful. That's
You can test
successful.
with- You can test with mine, Persephone. I'm quite inoculated to poison. As she hands hers back. This won't do anything for me.
Well, that's good to know. I didn't want to assume. I just thought it would be better to make one for you. I know you kind of deal with poisons, but I thought it would be better to be safe than sorry.
I'm pretty good at getting points too, so I'll keep one and maybe test a sauce for it, and then keep that one and I don't know, herbalize it. I guess I wasn't particularly interested in herbalism.
I could help with trying to develop an antitoxin. Helping you guys with that, at least. I don't know the anti-poison exactly, so I couldn't create a perfect counter to it. But we can make a general sort, like I'm guessing these berries.
At the mention of Yanti poison, I look at the Yanti in the group.
He's
Look
looks
at
over.
Vistus specifically.
You think I use poison on me? We're fighting young T, it makes no difference.
Well, I know some young T are able to produce poison.
You
How
will
about,
not touch me. No, thank you.
man, I don't have to touch you. I mean, you can do it yourself.
I'm going to leave. Goodbye. And she just gets up from the table.
Go to
You
the
are all
bathroom,
disgusting
take- oh.
creatures.
Vistus.
We can give you some mags.
I am gathering my things. If we are departing soon, I will depart with you. I will depart with Isael.
All you have to do is like bite down on like a vial or something.
Oh, I could bite down on a vial as the serpent slithers off of Persephone.
Sure, I don't know how you actually extract poison as Nick, so but
That's
Corn
essentially
is
what
smart
you do.
enough to do it.
Give me a
Milk her,
cup.
you milk her, Nick. You milk her.
Give me a cup, little
No!
friend. As she opens her mouth and you see a couple fangs snap out.
Yes, I give her a cup.
Actually.
And she bites on the edge of it, and you can see her sort of tensing up her gums a little bit, like she's trying to bite hard, but they don't have much teeth to bite with. Until you can see just very slightly transparent drip, drip, drip down the edge of her sharpened fangs. Something sort of piling up at the bottom of this empty cup. Only a little bit as she strains and strains and ah!
Oh, that hurts to do over and over. It's all I can muster for now. I might need to rest.
As you maybe just the smallest, like maybe just enough to fill a bit of a vial of snake venom.
I lean over to Samantha. Can you do that? Can they do that?
As
I
she
can
points
do
to all the
it.
snakes.
As sort of as Soraka is walking past, I sort of hold an arm out to her.
Oh, she's slithering past. She's still a snake.
Yeah.
She slithers up under your arm.
Hmm.
My jaw hurts.
I know. As I sort of just pat her on the head. Yes, all of my serpents can do that. I can do it a lot more than our companions, but my poison is far stronger. You
Corn gets a second cup.
You
The fellow
cannot
pulls out her
resist it.
cup.
You cannot resist it. It would be useless for your experiment.
But would it
Even
be?
better.
But would it be a good component for crafting antitoxins against Yanti toxins?
What you looking at, Omen?
I'm gonna see how that works again. Okay. Nice. Good shit.
It's invincible.
Am I lying?
poison.
No, you should be fine. Wait. Yeah, you should be fine.
No,
Should be
God.
fine.
Yes, Swithalo holds out her cup too. She has like a thin film over it. Alright,
Corn's like on the
bite
table.
into it. Alright, bite into it. Hand it
Spit
over.
on this, mommy.
I'm going to leave the table now. You are disgusting creatures.
Oh my god! No, I wanted to bond with this Soraka because I have a really goofy plan for giving her what she wants.
No,
I wanna
hand
be-
it
You
I
can
to
gotta-
bond
I gotta-
after you give me my poison.
I gotta
Yeah,
be friends
exactly.
with her.
I mean, you don't have to do it right now if you don't want to. We just learned this. Just now.
Swift Hollow, my good friend. You want my venom?
Oh, I'd be lying if I said no.
5,000 gold pieces.
Oh, you drive a hard bargain. Fine.
You're charging her?
I'm paying back a debt.
Oh, what the?
As Samantha sort of maneuvers behind herself, and you see just sort of dancing between her fingers a very large pearl.
Oh, you paid that value in full.
And so shall you. As she holds out a hand for the 5,000 gold pieces.
Here's your 500 plat.
I take 500 plant. I take your cup as well. Vengeance achieved.
Science.
Dang, you got me there.
Here, I'll give you something special since you're new, Corin. As I'll take the cup and have Cody and the gang bite into it 3 times and call on the breath of the fallen queen to empower that poison as strong as I can.
So you take the cup. I have to be hurt by this first. Okay, here we go.
Oh god, it's attacking me! Oh, save me!
Death.
Oh, so we're doing this 4E style where everything is as written. Okay, got it. I didn't know.
You could trickle out a little venom from it, but yeah, their little serpent bites can bite down and squeeze out some venom. Although, yeah, you're squeezing out some uses.
Yeah, but you
I'll
know
burn
what?
uses
Just on
for
the
it.
other side of the room and just throw cups at me.
Get Matt Mercer to throw pool noodles at me.
Alright, so what kind of poison do I get? Hand it over. What's the stat block?
I guess could I give the stat block?
You would give her the flat dice. You're giving her damage.
Yeah, right. The boon or the normal amount. Okay.
Yeah.
So you would get fallen. Let's go with that. You'll get fallen queen poison. I guess 3 doses of it. That do 4d6 poison damage. That cannot be resisted.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very potent. And I don't know how long it will stay, but Corin, do you have like a vial or something you can cap in case it evaporates?
Not on me, but I'm sure I could go get some. I go to the barkeep. I'm sure he has vials.
Please just take what you want and leave.
Dang,
I've seen
pranked.
terrible things happen here.
Ha ha,
Thank God. I
pranked,
mean,
bro.
you're
you
dragon
try-
slayers, but please God, please just take your stuff and go.
We're a menace.
Sorry, I'll
Can,
fix him.
can I have
when we're
a
done.
can I have a bottle of
Public enemy,
cactus,
public enemy.
cactus wine too?
Just
It's
take
good
it.
cooking
Fuck it.
wine. Cool.
I don't remember you being a dragon slayer, but you're just take it, please, and take them
I
away.
am a dragon slayer slayer.
Let's move
Oh,
the
that's
day
cute.
when the Valiant Man milked Samantha and you're in.
Snake milk.
I watched a bunch of famous people come into my bar and they threw up everywhere and they milked the lady's hair and then they asked for juice and I just said go.
Valiantly, we did all of that valiantly. Thank you very much.
Jesus
Very
Christ.
valiant. As I give Corin 2 doses of poison for himself using the last 2 uses of my vicious crown, and the poison I try to turn it to necrotic.
You watch it come out this light, it's almost glowing material, ethereal, and then fade away.
Sorry, my friend. It looks like you'll have to wait till tomorrow.
That's fine. I'm used to being patient.
I wanted to see if I could allow you to study something a bit more special, but it seems it's a bit
Oh wait,
too
her poison just
impermanent.
disappears?
Tried to
Or...
create a special kind of poison, and it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
One was more ethereal.
More magical. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's all stoppers.
God doesn't want me to give Swift Hollow necrotic doom poison
Necrotic damage.
that can't be resisted or gets through immunities.
Go make some poisons. Go spend some time doing some actual poison craft, maybe. But just by squeezing out of your head, no.
Alright, so it's all
I'm gonna bottle the
not plan
fireball
on-
real quick.
using this poison. This is study poison. This is look, Samantha poison.
How do I kill it?
Poison for Samantha.
The poison from
All
Samantha.
right.
The poison for the
As-
Yantis. The Yanti poison.
As you guys would
Poison.
be slightly like suggested or ushered, and you guys are done enjoying yourselves. Please, maybe find someplace elsewhere. If you need to go now, overheard someone need to leave. Please stop throwing up on my establishment.
Yeah, I see. Considering how nice this place is, and it's where I always stay, I will use my immense amount of wealth, thanks to Swift Hollow, and give this fine proprietor 50 platinum pieces.
Or stay as long as you want. It's up to you guys.
You see, the Valiant Vanguard
50
is
platinum
worth it.
pieces.
Wait, that wasn't supposed to happen. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. That's
Crying
fine. You guys are well respected. You were actually amazing. I'm so happy you came in here today.
Actually,
Thank
now
you
that
so
I
much.
take it all back, please, God, stay as long as you want, fully. Oh
Like
my
I
God.
could give you more
D&D,
juice.
there's two
Actually,
types of power fantasy.
Actually, as a matter of fact, here, the building's yours. I'm going to go retire for the rest of my life now. Goodbye.
It's like I'm gonna go pay a wizard to take that out of my brain. What I just saw today.
I can do that for you
I'm-
as well if you'd like.
Oh
I can remove that memory if you don't
yes,
want to
please,
see
just
it.
do so. Just do so.
Do they actually say that, or are you just fucking around?
Alright, go for it, please. That's quite
God.
horrible what I saw.
It was fine. You'd be alright.
Vomit.
Alright, time to go
Seen
figure
anyone
out how to
throw up in a
reverse
ball?
engineer.
Yeah, exactly. People throw
Samantha
open bars
poison.
all the time. As we gather up, I keep carrying Isaraka as long as she wants to ride, I suppose.
Sure.
And in joining back out with Vistas and Israel, you know, I never really quite understood. I enjoy being a snake just as much as perhaps any other Yonti that can do so, but why are you so attached to such a desire?
It is simply in my nature. I have many forms, you see. All creatures have many forms, many faces they wear, many masks we have to put on. But when I am a serpent, I need not hide. I need not put on a smile so that I remain someone's favorite. I may not put on a scowl so I may shy someone away. Everyone knows what a serpent is, and so does the serpent. It simply is. It consumes, it hides, it bathes in sunlight. And unless you wish to challenge it, it rests undisturbed. No need to politic, no need to hide, really. When you are great and long and filled with glittering scales and warm sunlight absorbed from the sky, I feel most content. It is an escape from the emptiness, I suppose.
So you would see yourself become a serpent, even if it meant losing who you are.
I was born in my nature. I was not so viciously turned as Vistus. And I have no ties to the gods as Israel. I am me. I am born what I am, and I have long since discovered who I am meant to be. That is all.
You are curious. I will see what it is I can do for you, Isaraka. I hope you like the end result.
Only time can tell. Off we go. As little tail whips around your side. Mush.
As we shove ourselves into the teleporter.
Ah! Kicking and screaming. With your supplies gathered and some strange new, acquaintances made. Those long since made with Samantha now introduced fully to the group. You find yourselves ushered into the incantation at 10, brought back to the teleportation circle. Everyone sort of a brief goodbye. It seems they have more business to attend to. Even Zvine comes up and gives Corin a big ol' hug. He's like, just come back next time. We'll have more fun. Sorry you guys are busy. We're going to put more work on you later. And we'll send that map to you. I'll probably find it in the chest. You guys will
Tamar,
be...
did we need to keep the gate key?
We would prefer you keep it here. So we
that's
can
what
put it in the vault.
Yeah, because it contains one of the spheres. But
Yes.
but I would ask him this on the way there, since we have one of the keys that you seem so inclined to do research on.
to have it at hand. It has the ability to unlock secret places. And
we
if the
find it.
servants of the sovereign also have such abilities, they might hide themselves away in places we need to get to.
But we need an Ioun stone, right, to power it instead of a hole in the fabric of reality that using such a thing would tear apart the world.
Possibly. Or some other form. But that is the story of how it was originally used.
Okay, so then I would give the gate key to Tenzin and ask, if possible, to try to secure the orb outside of it.
They can try. It will take time.
Yeah, of course. I figured it was gonna take time. Without losing another arm, please. I know you all can come back, but
Well, that was simply the identifier spell. You know how it works. You put your hand on something, spend some magic. Have to touch it to know it. But opening this thing just takes some careful arcane knowledge and configuration. Normally take even a skilled expert, possibly at least a day or so, just to deconstruct the thing. That's if they did it perfectly.
be careful. Last I recalled, that thing was a bit more agitated than the others.
We'll make Vythe do it.
Poor Vythe. Alright, that's all I got for you then. I got my chest back.
All right.
Got my sphere, so I can capture more orbs, like a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah. You got your Enigma Orb. As you will all be transferred back to the city of Roka. Familiar sights, save for really one big thing. As you enter back into the castle, you can hear...
Before we enter the magic circle, as we're like walking inside, I am a bit more streetwise than all of you, and before I suddenly remember this, I heard bits, tales, rumors that something was going to happen within the next couple of days dealing with the winged serpent in the city. I apologize for not bringing it up sooner.
Oh, in Roka?
Mm-hmm.
So we forewarned and
Next couple of
forearmed
days.
to potential problems.
Yep, something, I don't know, less than a week. Maybe we got 2, maybe
By
we
the
got 3
way,
days.
something crazy is going to go on in the city. As you enter the city and you feel the tower you've entered in, the Great Tower of the Wizard King, shift. You hear the sound of what sounds like a tempest swirling around, as just through one of the small windows you can perceive. The entire city seems to be slowly becoming engulfed in dark clouds, and the winds billow. The air seems like it's almost fog, but you know otherwise. It is the desert sand being lifted, tossed, and turned around this city of the gods. A storm, it seems, has arrived in Roka. But that is where we will end tonight's session. Having gathered some new knowledge, it seemed, reconvened with incantation of 10, and now returning to continue your mission, although it now seems, well, you're not the only things that have arrived here. What's going to happen in the next session? Well, we'll see.
Oh boy.
Something big is about to happen as we step through, and then big things are happening.
By the way, some crazy shit's going to be happening. We should prepare for that.
I heard it ear to the ground. Something about something was going to happen.
By the way, if you can hear me over the storm, I have rumors. Some crazy shit's about to go down.
Excellent news. I meant to tell you guys this in the morning, but I forgot because I was too busy.
My sense of danger is impeccable.
You were too busy putting flowers on Persephone's armor.
Yeah, I was too busy.
It's not funny.
You're too busy wanting to milk some snakes.
Yep.
That is where we'll end tonight's session with the Valiant Vanguard arriving into Roka with some newfound allies, and it seems to be a task at hand, supposedly to find out the location of this winged serpent through possibly communing with another serpent just beyond the veil.
Yeah, we still gotta do that, and also deal with whatever's happening above the city. Maybe.
Clouds, weather.
Maybe it's Does it seem like something active is happening, or does it seem like
Just seems like a storm showed up, dude. I don't know. Winds blowing in. Storm's here.
No great ominous voice booming over the clouds or anything like that, though, right?
Doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't seem like it. Just not yet.
Just
We'll
raining
find out
feathers.
next Thursday.
It's fine.
Okay.
Just a big voice going.
Wind.
Yeah, you know that one scene. You know that one scene from Fantasia with like the centaur.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
weapon?
yeah.
It's that,
Yeah.
exactly that.
Got you.
As another
Runga's in
RP
trouble.
session brings us back to the city of Roka. The Valiant Vanguard are sure to be triumphant or whatever challenge awaits them. We have to find out what the challenge is next week!
It's a role-playing game. It's fine. You're supposed to
It's all good.
role-play. You're supposed to go do things, have interests.
Yeah! I want you to
Have
as long as you have fun,
desires.
y'all. That's all I got.
To
See a
do the
movie.
one thing I actually plan to do.
That's a classic you, I think. Lordy. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. Pirates Maniverse, thank you for the host, as always. Johnny Thunder, thank you for the 45 months of Prime sub. Your support is greatly appreciated. And thank you all again, for hanging out with us. I hope to see you again in the future. We are off this Sunday for Heroes of Thylea, the pitched boss battle against... Oh, Jesus Christ, I have just cleared so much out of my head.
Ghost lady, ghost spear lady.
Yeah, I just trying to remember what the hell I named her. Trivistus Ocklander. Shut up, Peter. The
Huh?
spear
What? What did I say?
vengeance is underway with Emphyria taking a hell of a lot of damage at the last round of our pitched combat last Sunday. So be sure to tune in, not this Sunday, but hopefully next Sunday, the following, to see how that resolves, and perhaps if Sophia can get the answer she is so desperately clawing at the ether for in regards to understanding the horrific undead of Thylea and what it is that comprises them. That and more await you. But we should be back this upcoming Thursday for more Song of Rapture.
Should be.
Alrighty then. So be sure to tune in next Thursday on the 24th, right here on Linehead Gaming for some more D&D. That's all I've got for you. So as always, may your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Lady yo.
Toodles.
Bye.
No shots, baby.